optimism and faith.
Now, she did address the convention remotely as the delegates' roll call made her nomination official. Walz will speak tonight in Chicago, then the Harris acceptance speech tomorrow to end the convention. Former President Trump continues to counter the Democrats with trips to battleground states. Michigan, the latest.
Kamala Harris will deliver crime, chaos, destruction, and death.
Speaking at the Livingston County Sheriff's Office in Howell, vowing if elected again to make a record investment in the hiring, retention, and training of police officers to seal the border and dismantle criminal networks.
Well, that's Fox's Kristen Goodwin. The former president and running mate J.D. Vance will go to Asheboro, North Carolina today. Could Robert F. Kennedy Jr. end his independent campaign and endorse Trump? His running mate, Nicole Shanahan, suggests that is possible, telling Fox,
"It's a really hard decision, and we don't come to this moment lightly."
Now, Shanahan says Democrats have obstructed the election process for them, trying to keep the Kennedy ticket off of state ballots. And speaking of state ballots, abortion will be on the issue in two more of them, Arizona and Montana. In both, if voters approve these measures, it would put abortion rights in the state constitutions up to 24 weeks into a pregnancy. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
The Morning Extra, only on Extra 106.3.
Morning, y'all. Tug, Rhino, and those midway through the work week. Thank you for being here. 404-741-1230 is the number. At Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms. Last night, I saw Michelle and Barack Obama take the stage at the DNC and act like the Democrats have not been in power for the last 4 years.
Man, I thought the same thing.
I'm right there with you.
Dude, that's all they talked about, how we've got to...
What we're going to do.
Like,
once we're in charge.
Yes, exactly. That was the entire presentation. We're not in charge, but when we get in there, we're going to fix it all.
Well, yeah, that was the one thing that I kept going, like, Barack act like he just lost this race to Donald Trump, or he, obviously he served his term, and then Donald Trump took over, and now he's coming back to say, we got to get back to where I was. And the reality of it is they're complaining about the way people are living today because of the past 3.5 years, and now saying, we got to get back to that, or we need to move further. The other thing I found that they said that was really just like, what are you guys doing? What are you talking about? They got up there and they talked all about the opportunity that all of them had to get to where they are today, and then said, we're fighting for people to have opportunity. The reality is, all of you are up there because you had opportunity. No one's taken opportunity away. They did a wonderful job speaking to their base. They really did. It was a very clean, two of the cleanest. I'll tell you what, I thought Doug did a really good job kind of introducing his wife to the world. I thought he did a really good job doing that. He didn't get very divisive. None of the last three there really did. I thought they didn't mention Trump as much as I thought they would, to be honest.
24 times, I think, in comparison the day before was like
175.
75, whatever it was.
But they did it in a way where they created that fear just enough for their base.
Well, and to me, and this is probably speaking about what I think about Barack Obama. So I sat through all of Michelle Obama, and I couldn't help thinking nothing. But right. as I went through it, then I was like, all right, okay, here comes Barack Obama. Here comes a former president. We're talking about 8 years as somebody who's sitting in that office, and I'm right there with you guys. the entire time I'm sitting back and I'm saying, you're talking about all the things you're going to do when you assume power. You've been in power. All right? Like the person who's currently running for president has been the vice president, the second most powerful place in the entire land. And as I'm listening to all of it, all I keep thinking to myself is, I got to check out on this dude because he's living in an alternative reality.
He's unbelievable at the ability to do that, to speak to people as if, what he laid out, this glorious America that he's laid out, and Trump has just ruined it. And you keep thinking to yourself as you're watching this, haven't y'all been in power for, 12 out of the last 20 years?
Or still in power.
But see, that's where I was headed with this. It's not like Joe's policies, not like Kamala's policies. These are all Barack's policies.
I made it 15 minutes into his speech, and finally I was like, I'm just done.
You're so
I'm just
good.
done.
Yeah.
I actually was so tired. I ended up watching the whole thing, and I had planned to watch it on the way in, and I had just stayed up and watched it, and it didn't get any better. You didn't miss anything after 15 minutes. It was the same speech, and like you just said, it was about this fake hope that was brought back. Hope and change.
Yeah, right.
And
both he and Michelle spoke of hope.
Yeah, the reality of it is, I think a lot of people that's going to fall flat on, because I think a lot of people realize, hold on one second, we had 8 years with you. We're not better off than we were today. We don't have any better opportunities. What have you done for us? You gave us an Affordable Care Act or the Obamacare thing. It's not good enough. You haven't done anything for us. You've kept us in the same neighborhoods. You made us less safe by keeping our border open. In reality, I think people will look at this and say, I appreciate you're a great orator. You can get up there and you can speak.
And he is.
And you can also spew a bunch of BS, because I was surprised at the lies that he threw out. I will say that I expect Barack Obama to be a good speaker and to go out there and give his vision without throwing out lies. But he did. He threw out the lies of job creation, wages being up. He threw out the lies of the border. He threw out the lies of Project 2025. It's disgusting what they're doing, but they know their base is eating it up right now.
See, this has been the nice thing about the last 4 years. As much as we look at Joe Biden, we say, all right, that's a diminished person. That's a person who dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever. There was a certain point where he did not have the ability to be able to create, the power in order to be able to make legislation go. Like everything came down to, all right, we split it, and Kamala's going to be the deciding vote. Man, Barack Obama was the guy that got people to go in on things that you knew were not good.
Yeah,
and
but he could convince them.
And he could convince them. And so I have felt this way over the last 10 years. Thank you that we don't have a Democrat Manchurian candidate that's currently in office in Joe Biden that has the ability that Barack Obama did.
I tell you, I want to play this cut from Barack talking about how Donald Trump is afraid to lose to Kamala Harris. But he sets this thing up, and I got to tell you, man, I was thinking he's about to hit this thing out of the park, and then it falls flat when he talks about your neighbor and their leaf blower. You have this.
I had no idea what he was talking about.
You have this big buildup.
What?
No, but seriously, you have this big buildup, and you're like, dude, he's about to put the nail in the coffin, and then it just falls completely flat.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
And then he makes the shapes, the lengths, And I'm telling you, up to this point, I was like, he's good.
And on.
But then he continued.
The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous.
What?
Telling you.
It just went nowhere.
What's he going to do? Blow all the leaves off your property for you?
He hit the crowd size thing.
Yeah, dude.
And I checked out 10 seconds after that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's so funny because I'm telling you, leading up to that, he had them eating out of the pot. And look, I hated what he was saying, but I was like, dude, he's so good. He's so freaking good. And then he got to the leaf blower thing, and it didn't go anywhere. You're talking about popping the balloon for a president. And then nothing. It's just like he just couldn't bring it home.
No, he never really brought it home, and I didn't really get the analogy at all. So that was just a weird whole situation. He tried to bring it back again later, and it didn't work. And I was like, what are you doing?
I dropped it earlier. Let me see if I can try it again.
But the reality of it is this. Donald Trump talks about himself a lot. He's absolutely right. But the Democrats talk about him a lot, way more.
Even more.
More and more and more than Donald Trump. They continue to. That's what this entire thing was. They did a good job, I think, introducing Kamala Harris. I think they did a really good job bringing up her life and talking about what she did. I think they've pumped her up and maybe embellished her career a lot throughout that. But that's what they need to do, and that's the job. The only other aspect of this entire just ridiculous show yesterday was they only talked and bashed Trump for things that he never did, which are Project 2025 and talking about getting rid of abortion totally. They acted like IVF is not allowed in this country and that it's been banned. It has not been banned. These are the kind of things that people are going to buy into, but at the same time, I think they also realize everything they said led to we want government to control your lives. Because that's what I heard more than anything else. They don't want government in your lives. We want to make sure that you're being taken care of. We want to get you houses. We want to do this. They pitched communism in a very unique and very, very addictive way to the base that they were pandering to.
I would like to pretend that for the most part, everybody hears everything that we say, and then they understand it and they get it. And but that's not the truth. That's just not how it goes.
Of course.
So when yesterday, when I started pointing out, over on Twitter that part of the reason why Kamala Harris is where she is, and listening to her husband speak and a handful of other people speak, I was sitting back and I go, how weird energy is it to know that this is a woman who went ahead and slept her way to the top. Now, Tug, I know you're not comfortable with that, but she was sleeping with a man twice her age in Willie Brown, who then put her on a track in order for her to get political power. Now, she wouldn't have been there beforehand.
Oh, no, that's correct.
And I was going to say, this is a simple fact of the matter. When you bring this up with people, it was amazing to see the amount of people that were responding going, you can't say that about Kamala Harris. I'm
Yes,
like,
you can.
yeah, you can.
Because Willie Brown says it. Willie Brown says
Willie
it.
Brown is like, laid her down like a rug.
Willie Brown, I mean, you heard Judge Joe Brown talking about how she rose to power and what she
had a
did.
reputation.
We know her record.
They haven't brought any of that up during this this convention.
No, probably
Whether
won't.
they like it or not, that's part of her record. It's part of how she became who she was. Nobody's calling her, a tramp, or calling her. We're just putting out the facts. This is how she got to her place.
If you call her a tramp, that's because you thought of it. Not because we said
Exactly,
it.
not me. I didn't say it. I'm just telling you this is what happened, and you're saying, are you calling her that? I didn't call her that. I love that.
Such a good word.
But it is such a good word. But the reality of it is this. They're going to distract from that. They're going to talk about her record and the good things that she may have done in that area. But the reality is when you go back and you look at California, and I found it ironic that Gavin Newsom was like, everybody looks at California and they see where we're going and where the future heads just by looking at California. Well, I look at California. I saw communism at full effect when you held up Chinese flags welcoming in a dictator to your city. I see it every single day with the homelessness. I see it with your deficit, the deficit that is destroyed. I see it with... And I think Ron DeSantis was brilliant when he said this. I see it when all the U-Hauls in Florida, Georgia, and everywhere else say California on the back of the license plate. People moved out. Businesses moved out. People are struggling. San Francisco is trying to figure out how to fix the entire city because of Democrat policies. So listen when they tell you that this is the direction the country's heading in.
Yeah, they're taking that direction. Every major city, American city, is run by Democrats. and every one of them have the same type of issues. Murder rates, I think I read this yesterday, but murder rates in America are the third highest in the world. If you take out 5 major Democrat cities, it falls to 189th in the world. That's what Democrat policy does.
Yes.
And I will give credit to for the most part, the southern universities of this country.
Go Dogs!
Thank you for all of these sorority videos that have been going on out there.
Tide.
Because what you now have, and this is, who could have imagined this 4 or 5 years ago, where you would have Northeastern Americans that would basically be saying, I know I've got Harvard here, but let's send our kid to Clemson.
Yeah.
Okay, let's send them to places where things are normal. By the way, ladies are hot. They're able to be hot. Oh, by the way, we can act normal about these sort of deals now.
And that was one of the things when I came back from that rally in Atlanta. I told you guys, there's a surprise group that I don't think people are paying attention to, and it's the frat boys and the sorority sisters that are now coming to schools and really getting energized in politics that were at these rallies that are out there. And I think it's really important that we continue to focus on these groups that realize, hey, we need to be safer. Donald Trump did a great job, too, yesterday, by the way. He did get out there yesterday, and not only did he go to the night before and talk about all the lies that they told, he also went to tell you what they were going to do today, and he was spot on. But he talked about the same numbers you did. 25 of the highest crime rate cities are all run by Democrats, and that's where it is. They could play the game. Oh, it's in a red state, though, that crime's high, but it's in a blue city run by all the far left people that are not protecting their citizens. They're the ones defunding the police in those areas. This is where the problem is, and that was the big point that Donald Trump kept making in front of the police department was the reason that this city is so safe right here is because you guys are not defunded. You have a great crew that cares about the community, and that's what we want to do all across America, and I love that vision.
But also keep in mind as well, just as Rhino gives you those statistics, you're in a scenario now where you have so many of these prosecutors that will not prosecute violent crime.
Yes.
So they sit back and go, hey, I now know that we're like top 10 in violent crime. Well, we'd probably be higher if we actually did what we're supposed to do. And when the reports end up coming out, when it comes to the FBI Bureau of Statistics, you look at it and you go, and this is always their thing, hey, look at violent crime, it's down. No, it's not.
It's not reported.
You're just not reporting it, and you're not prosecuting it.
Yeah, and that goes to, you know what? I mean, theft. They don't care about the $950. They act like, okay, we're not going to prosecute on any of these crimes. And it's not just California that does that. It's happening all over the country. So Carlos brings up a really important point that $950, stealing from somebody, taking away their livelihood, I know it's not murder, I know it's not violent crime, but it's still destroying somebody's life in one way or another. And those aren't getting reported. So as they sit here and tell you, it's their policies that they're not actually reporting these crimes or prosecuting these crimes that continues to keep the number up. And you know what? They're doing the same for the illegals because they don't even have information on these people that are causing the crimes.
I'm telling you, people are fed up with Democrat policy. Now, will they recognize it, or will they be, I don't know, swayed by the sweet language that was used at the DNC and will continue to be used at the DNC? You know, do something, the chance of do something. Hell, y'all been in office for 3.5 years. Why ain't you already done something? That would be my question.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did. They changed every positive working policy that Donald Trump put in place and got rid of it. And now we're back at square one, needing somebody to do something. Hopefully it'll be Donald Trump. When we continue on Extra 106.3, Joe Biden won't be impeached, but it's not because he doesn't deserve it. We'll hit that and the headlines next on Extra 106.3.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Extra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM, and listen across Georgia on the Extra app.
Walking around the house last night, just picking up some sticks. You know, we had a bunch of wind and over the weekend, some rain that knocked a bunch of limbs down. So I was out there, and I couldn't help but notice that our AC systems weren't on. And I kept thinking, that's weird. It's really hot outside. Shouldn't they be on? And I go in the house, and the house is completely comfortable, right where it needs to be. It's because Central Heating and Air Conditioning came out, did the maintenance, so they work more efficiently. Our HVAC units work at peak performance, so they don't have to be on all the time. They're working properly. They're working the way they should be. They're working the way they're supposed to. Now, your house, what does it look like? Are your AC units on all the time? Is it because those units are not properly maintained and they're just trying to keep up as best they can? They're working their tails off. All you have to do is give them a little bit of attention, and they can work just like the ones at our house, just like the ones at Carlos's house, because they're well maintained by Chuck and his team at Central Heating and Air Conditioning. You can get that service today. All you do is call them at 770-GET-HEAT or hit their website. It is centralheat.com. Pretty straightforward, centralheat.com.
Hey fans, summer is here and you know what that means. Exterior painting season. At Atlanta Painting Company, this summer, save 10% off of all exterior projects and get a free color consultation. We understand how valuable your home is, so protect your investment with our industry-leading warranty and unmatched customer service. Don't just take our word for it. We have over 900 Google reviews telling you why we're the painters you can trust. Ready to get started? Visit us online at atlantapaintingcompany.com to schedule your free home consultation. The Atlanta Painting Company, the painters you can trust.
I enjoy a good night's sleep, and I like to breathe while I'm sleeping. My wife appreciates that, too. That's why I wear a CPAP. You want the right machine. You want expert advice. You want all the supplies that go with it. You get it all at CPAPs, etc. in Alpharetta. Machines, masks, tubing, filters, cleaning supplies, all of it, and they ship nationwide. Walk-ins, by the way, are welcome. CPAPs, etc. Alpharetta, CPAPsETC.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, The Marketing Mad Men. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Mad Men every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Xtra 106.3.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Organizations like Georgia Tech.
Hi, this is Jay Batten, Director of Athletics here at Georgia Tech. This is an incredible place. The history of success, the coaches that have been here, everybody from Heisman to Coach Dodd to Coach Curry to Coach Ross, and even now to Coach Key. We've got this tremendous history of success. This is an anchor here in Midtown Atlanta. This is such a growing, vibrant market, particularly for college sports. You know, Atlanta has one of the highest percentages of college sports fans for any major metro. The work being done over my shoulder is a first of many steps towards our continued evolution towards the very highest level and reestablishing Georgia Tech athletics at that championship caliber. We continue to invest in the fan experience here in Bobby Dodd.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit GeorgiaPower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia. The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, August 21st. A 32-year-old mother and her 4-year-old son were found safe after being abducted from their home in Roswell. According to Roswell police, Forsyth County Sheriff's deputies spotted a car being driven by Brian Batania, the suspected abductor and the mother's boyfriend. Batania was taken into custody 7 hours after a Levi's call was made. His charges have not been disclosed. Carroll County Deputy Taylor Bristow, who had been shot in the face while serving the search warrant, is out of surgery and recovering in the intensive care unit at Grady Memorial Hospital. Deputy Bristow was working with the GBI to serve a warrant for alleged sexual exploitation at the time. Officials say the suspected gunman is dead. The GBI also reported that no officers fired their weapons during the encounter. And in sports, Marcell Ozuna homered and Reynaldo Lopez pitched 5 strong innings in his return to the mound as the Atlanta Braves beat the first-place Phillies 3-1 last night at Truist Park. The Braves will go for their 4th win in a row tonight when they take on the Phillies in a 7:20 matchup. Max Fried will be on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
I think we all knew that the impeachment of Joe Biden was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. It wouldn't have gotten passed. It wouldn't have gotten through. It would have died in the Senate. We all know that. But the fact that the information, the investigation that happened is so valuable, Rhino. The things that we now know that the Biden crime family were a part of because of this is just as valuable, if not more, than the actual impeachment process.
Yeah, I think the impeachment process was important because I think it did open up and we got a lot of information about what happened with Ukraine. We talked about it a bunch, and I know people are talking about it all day today. $27 million. Joe Biden was lying. He continues to lie. He knows he benefited financially. So did the entire family. And quite frankly, part of the deal I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi came to him with was part of, hey, we're going to make sure this goes away. We'll talk to our friends on the other side of the aisle and see what they can do. I don't think they'll ever renew the impeachment into Biden, but I think it's very important to release all of the information that you do have to show the corruption of the Democrats. Because if you don't think Menendez and a lot of these other Democrats that are getting popped for the same kind of corruption aren't doing the same thing he was, well, then I think you're mistaken.
Well, you do it in order to set the example, because if you don't do it, well, then you're just encouraging this. And so if you're telling me that you're able to point out that an American president, while he was the vice president and to a certain extent was still going on with his son now, was using the office in order to enrich themselves, it's not just political anymore. It has to be an example. Mm-hmm. You've got to make it an example so no one else considers doing it. I mean, if we're just going to depend on integrity, like, for instance, Donald Trump and his family
doesn't exist in D.C. to begin with.
Right.
But Donald Trump and his family, we're talking about billions. They ain't going anywhere crazy over $500,000 paintings.
And they created that.
Right. They're not sitting back going, well, if I just go ahead and get a little bit of influence, maybe I can make myself $500,000 on a painting. That's not what they're doing. That's peanuts.
No, of course. But the thing is, no one is going to be held accountable. Let's not pretend that anybody's going to be held accountable for anything. I know we should set the example. I think everybody listening right now probably agrees we should set the example. But tell me something that we've set the example on. We've not set the example on anything. And I mean either side. I mean, people don't get punished for anything they do. We talked about it earlier. People coming across the border illegally. As wrong as it is, they should be sent back. We don't have the stomach for it. I don't know that we have the stomach for doing anything when it comes to correcting people anymore.
Yeah, I think setting the example when Carlos says that is what Mike Johnson said. You know, I don't like Mike Johnson, but what he said is read the impeachment report. Read it for yourselves. Understand why we came to the conclusion and why we think this corruption is bad. Because, again, the left right now is running on joy. That's it. That's all they have is, oh, look how joyful it is. We filled this place with a bunch of paid people. So look how joyful it is. And then what do? They attack capitalism at every avenue. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they're guys, they're not like you working people. No, they created businesses. They built businesses. They created fortune and they're wealthy now. Why? Because they created jobs. Same thing with Elon Musk. Why is he being attacked? Why? Because he's creating jobs. He's changing the future. He's ahead of the energy because he's figuring out a way to do clean energy, but he's just not doing it with unions. So they hate him for that. But yet he still creates jobs, good paying jobs throughout. They are fighting capitalism. And you know what? They're still benefiting. How does he have $27 million in his pocket? He was paid.
Yeah, that's
he was
why,
paid to be a
what
politician. So who are you more mad at? And I think it's real important that we get that out there. Capitalism, they earn this because of their merit in creating jobs. He stole this.
All that's correct, and it's not going to change a thing. How many people you think is going to read that impeachment, the paperwork? The
nobody
report?
on the left, you mean?
But, I mean, nobody anywhere.
Well, I would hope independents and people will read some of it or look into it, but I doubt it. You're right.
0%. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand. I even think people on our side will be like, all right, I know what it exists. I know it exists. I know it's there. Now nothing's going to be done. They're never going to think of it again.
I referenced the tech billionaire that you brought up, how he spent 5 years not knowing that there are fine people on both sides what that was really about. This guy's a millionaire. This guy should be plugged into this stuff. When people tell you, and this is why we love our audience, because y'all listen and y'all are plugged in and you pay attention.
Yep.
But the average person who does not consume anything such as talk radio, news radio, they check in with politics on an average of 40 seconds per day. 40 seconds. So why do you think that so much of this stuff, this drive-by information, is so effective on them? You really think they're going to spend any time reading about what the Bidens were doing overseas?
Stalin said it better than anybody. You write the article, let me write the headline. Because that's the 40 seconds.
That's all the 40 seconds.
People actually look at.
I read it. No, that's what it is. Okay.
Rhino's going to read it. I know he will. As long as I've known him, he's read bills. I mean, bills that I wouldn't even... I just don't have the patience to
Rhino
read.
is the first person that I've ever
He's like a damn unicorn.
who said, hey, about that whole don't say gay bill, it ain't in here. It's like the first person screaming about it in the whole marketplace. Hey, don't say it gay. He's like, I read it, it ain't in here.
That's the point. You're a unicorn.
Right.
Nobody else is doing this.
Yeah,
Nobody.
see, and I don't expect anybody to do what I do. What I do expect is that people are informed. So when we talk about the number one media source, the number one news source, it's Twitter. It is social media. When we know things, look, we don't know half the things that the Democrats are doing or saying. It's only because they come up in our timeline. The Democrats come up in my timeline. I follow them. I know a lot of people do. I see the comments by conservatives on the other side that actually break down those things so that we do get it out there, because you know what? When it is told, and I think that's why the black community has come over so much to the Trump, they're starting to read and go, hold on one second. Now I'm seeing this on Twitter all the time. Here's Kathy Hochul saying black people don't even understand what a computer is. Nobody covered that. Now, where did the black people start making all those videos? Did you see how quick it trended? It starts on X. So when you start putting out there that $27 million was put into his pocket, here's the proof. People are going to put that out on the social media. That's where you get the influence now. That's where you make people maybe question and start to read a little bit. You're right. CNN ain't covering it. MSNBC isn't. Nope. But social media does. And that's the new way of politics. Everything we see is in clips and quick little pieces in maybe in like a note, a community note. Here's the real one.
And $27 million is a lowball estimate. I don't care what.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. That's what I thought. That's funny.
Chance it's just
$27
million. You sold out your entire country to the Chinese, to the people the Ukrainians in Burisma, and all these. $27 million is a drop in the hat compared to what they actually came away with. I'm sure that's just what they could prove, like physically with bank records.
Well, by the time that they went through the 21 shell companies and said, here's how money was moving around. Remember, keep in mind, you did have the Ukrainian people that were in on it who basically said, this is so complicated, it's going to take 10 years for people to figure out. And sure enough,
it did.
It was 2016. It took till 2023, 2024 to go, oh, wait, it turns out the Bidens made a lot of money over here in Ukraine when he was vice president.
You know, and Donald Trump, man, this guy sold out the country for $1 when he could have gotten $27 million. What a dumb businessman. How does he even run a business? What an idiot that guy can be.
That's a great point.
But that's how ridiculous this is. That's how ridiculous the rhetoric from the left is and continues to be. We should be talking about how do you sell influence for 27? How do you lie to the American people over and over and over again, your own party over and over and over again? You never took money. You never did business with them. You never talked on the phone. You never did this. And yet every time they produce something, it was proven that you were a liar. And you know what? CNN and some of them covered a little bit of it. So there is stuff that will leak out.
I want you to ponder this.
Just don't impeach. Like, don't go through a whole show trial again.
I want you to ponder this. We have an American president, a vice president, and a president whose son is a crackhead, admittedly, he's an addict, who went ahead and sold out the country, and yet we did not reach a point of saying that's enough until we finally proved, yeah, he really does have like some sort of Alzheimer's of some sort of dementia. Like, he sold out the country. He's got a crackhead son. They found cocaine in the White House, and at no point did we say that's about enough.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're not proceeding with the impeachment. I mean, in some point, it's like you have to do it for principle, right?
We don't have principles.
Well, I guess you're right. Yeah, you know what? That's DC. Nobody
point.
in DC has principles.
That's my point. We had everything lined up and said, well, if he can win an election, we're all right.
Yeah, I'm so put off by it all.
I like when I make a small point that I'm leading you to water, and then you jump in. You're like, it's wet in here.
Yeah, I know.
Like, yeah. You're like, good Prince. Oh, dang it.
We are talking about DC, aren't
we? They actually took all of these things that we have known about, that we have the paper trail on, and said those are all fine until you can't win an election, and clearly you have dementia that we've been lying about for 4 years.
I think I get sideways sometimes because I spend time with principled people, and I know that they do things because it's the right thing, not because it's the easy thing. They do things because it's the right thing, not because it's what they would like to do. If they make a mistake, they own up to it. They set that example for their children. They do that in the workplace. So I have this false belief that happens everywhere, and sometimes I have to be shaken. I have to be shaken and say, hey, wake up. We're talking about Washington, D.C. Principles do not exist. Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los on the Morning Xtra on Xtra 106.3. I want to share something with you that I ran across. And this is how absolutely nutter butter crazy the people that are attending the DNC are.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. This is a woman that they talked to right outside the DNC, talking about deporting people who are in the country illegally, and her opinion of that.
If I had my choice, in my perfect world, every Republican is out of the country and all the immigrants come in. That's what I want. It's never going to happen. That's what I want.
But we're all immigrants. We all came from somewhere else.
Right.
So deport me too. Wait, what?
Republican. I'm going to deport every Republican and bring in every illegal immigrant. That is the level of crazy that's happening in Chicago, Illinois for the next 2 more days.
It was, look, that roll call showed me how ridiculous everything was yesterday and how kind of off some of these people are. And these are delegates. These are paid people. They're paid to be there. They're the ones that are going to be knocking on doors. They're going to be the ones that are the captains throughout this country. And the reality just left their body. And you can hear it in that guy. And you can hear it from anybody that they interview this week.
Dude, every person has the same crazy eyes, the same bugged out eyes that AOC had. Like, I've lost my love for her. I'm now on the
Anna
Paulina Luna.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm out on AOC. Have y'all seen the tweets or the posts on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, X? And they use like the Snapchat filters on AOC. Dude, her eyes are, like her eyes bugging out of her head anyway. But the filters, where it like intentionally does that. People do that.
They look giant.
Yeah, they look giant. Yeah. And she's got this horrible, because she's shouting and it worked out perfect. It's like that filter was made for her.
Oh, it was so scary. I came across that too. Can I ask another weird question? Maybe you guys know this, and I know Carlos is way more stylish than you and I are.
I don't know about that.
You have daughters.
I have unending shorts.
What is with the big frame glasses all those crazy people
I think
wear?
That's just fashionable now, though.
Yeah,
those are kind of
weird, man.
I know, I don't dig them either. I don't either, but
I don't wear glasses. But yeah, my wife bought into this like 2 years ago. That's just style with glass wearers.
It is.
Is it a Democrat thing though? Because I didn't see this at any of the Trump events or even at the RNC like I saw yesterday. Like every one of them had just accentuating their big crazy eyes. The bigger the frames, the bigger crazy eyes.
Accentuating their crazy eyes. No, because a bunch of my wife's friends who are conservative women, they wear them too. I think it's just in style right now. It's not my thing, but neither was mullets. And Morgan Wallen brought that back and had that one going
Mullets
for
are cool.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. And
Maybe that's our thing.
He got rid of them altogether, and now people are still doing it.
Yeah, maybe that's our thing. Yeah, I made fun of Mike Collins when he came on with us about his mullet.
That's right.
He started growing
That's right.
He was growing it.
Yeah.
He was growing it.
Dude.
So I think maybe that's our little the red. So the red side they get the mullets. The blue side they get the big goofy glasses. Got
That's
it.
right. Yeah. We're like mullets are white trash, man. They are. They're such white trash.
Bro, I would grow a skullet right now.
I don't know what you're waiting on.
I don't know.
We need to be like
Just
John
let it go.
Michaels to see if we can go get that hair replacement thing. I'm telling
I just want like maybe a mohawk that goes into a mullet. Something totally new.
That's right. Something nobody's ever seen before.
You're so dumb.
No, he's not. Don't you ever say that again, Joey. Don't you ever say that again, Board Up Joe. Not so dumb. That's brilliant. A skullet freaking mohawk. Yes, I will. All right, when we come back after a short break, it shouldn't surprise you that anyone in the DNC would mess up this specific beloved song, yet they did.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's the camera. How's it going? Here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
No, I didn't vote for Trump the first time around. I voted Libertarian. I usually do. Will I vote for him this time? Well, I'll say this. No way in hell I would ever vote for Kamala Harris, the most left-wing radical presidential ticket in my lifetime.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after-the-sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Jim Niarchos here with exciting news. The All Four Seasons Home Show returns to Atlanta Radio this Saturday morning at 9, bringing you advice and tips from some of Georgia's top business owners. Join Dan Watkins and myself when we will be helping you make smarter purchases, save money, and keep from getting ripped off. That's the All Four Seasons Home Show every Saturday morning at 9, right here on Extra 106.3.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening. I would say the biggest benefit of working with Horizon is that we have people working in every courthouse throughout the country to be able to pull records and help with those background checks. There's probably not going to be anything that you can throw by us that's either going to shock us, surprise us, or that we can't put together to help you. The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com. For
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info is out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, your information's vulnerable. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code PLAY at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Things at the ballpark are really heating up. If too much celebrating leaves you in trouble after the game, it's important to know who to call. Call A Second Chance Bail Bonds. We handle bonds from the stadium to the city, and in most cases, we can have you or your loved one out in a matter of hours. A Second Chance. It's better to know us and not need us than need us and not know us. Call A Second Chance 24/7 at 404-BAIL-OUT. That's 404-BAIL-OUT. Or online at atlbail.com.
Keep up with all of our shows and the latest headlines by following Extra 1063 on Instagram, X, Facebook, Truth Social, and all your social media platforms. Plus exclusive giveaways and more. So follow now at XTRA 1063.
Keith Whitley, I'm No Stranger to the Rain. Pearl Jam, Yellow Ledbetter. Waylon Jennings, Lukenbach, Texas, Back to the Basics of Love. 3 of my favorite songs in the world, but there is no song that I love more than the national anthem.
Me too.
Such a beautiful song. And, it's one, because I saw where you'd written this in our show notes. We put together a big,
I was just going to ask you that question.
Pages of show notes. And I thought your observation about the national anthem was so spot on.
When did you learn it?
I don't even know.
Exactly.
I don't know. Which was to your point. You're like, I grew up singing it at ball games.
Yeah. My father, my grandfather, we go to ball games or any kind of special event, really, because, even wrestling matches, they sung the national anthem before, like WWE growing up.
Absolutely.
I learned the words to the national anthem because I love this country so much, and I appreciated being born American and being at these events with this great diverse crowd that were all cheering for the same goal, their team to win. And it was just a great way to open it up. And that's how I learned the words, just by caring.
Yeah, just by being involved, just by being around people that sang the national anthem, that actually had respect and reverence for the national anthem.
And I haven't forgotten it since I was probably 10 years old.
Of course you haven't.
Not any word.
None of us. Anybody that grew up, like you said, going to ball games or just being the slightest bit.
Yeah.
You don't have to be uber patriot. You don't, the slightest bit.
You don't
patriotic.
even have to sing it good.
Yeah, no.
I couldn't sing
that
it.
a lot.
I can't sing. Oh, say can you? Like, I'm not a great singer, but I wouldn't go, oh, say, can you see the glare of rockets in the air?
No, you wouldn't mess up the words.
Right.
I want to tell you, we had country music superstar Josh Turner in here yesterday for the Braves Country podcast, and he's retired from singing the national anthem. The Braves wanted him to sing the national anthem, and he was just like, I've kind of retired from that.
Yeah.
And the reason, he didn't say this, but I surmise the reason is it's hard to get it right? It's hard to do it well.
Sure.
Right? So many people screw up the national anthem. But I think there's a difference in screwing up the national anthem and not sounding good because it's a hard song to sing.
Yeah.
But to your point, you don't have to do it really, really well. You don't have to be Whitney Houston. You don't have to be Chris Stapleton to just put the effort in to get it right. At the DNC, they can't even get the national anthem right.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
What just happened?
Oh, no.
So proudly we hailed
That's better.
at the twilight.
Let's harmonize behind.
Gleaming, whose broad strides
What the hell was that? What the actual hell was that?
Let me explain what that is. That is people who don't care about the country but have to pretend that they love this country. I don't know if anybody noticed. Night one, not an American flag on the stage. None of them.
I saw a bunch of printed out USA things.
Yes, that's all we saw.
That's right.
Now, they did project it on the back.
Sure.
They got a lot of backlash for not having those American flags. Then you got 4 now on the side of the stage.
Of course.
These people are pretending to care about this country, to love America, and to be patriots. That's what they were doing. So now they decide, hey, let's throw in the national anthem at the beginning, when we open up the days, just to make people know that we care about this country, and then they do that.
Well, I imagine they had to say, okay, everybody, it's time for the national anthem. And then as that unfolded over the next 30, 45 seconds, everyone went, what the hell?
Are we supposed to stand up and sing this?
Who are we going to get to sing this? None of us know these words.
Exactly.
We don't even like this song.
What do we do from here? But I think it is indicative of what they regularly push on a regular basis is that you can have what you want. You're just going to have a lesser quality of it.
No, that's right. And like we talked about, the first night was the printed out USA signs, and they chanted USA. That was so prompted. There was nothing. Like when Trump goes out on stage and people start chanting USA, they don't need any prompting.
No.
Nobody needs to go, hey, USA, USA. That was what was happening at the DNC. You could tell because everybody was looking around like, am I okay to say this?
Right.
Am I okay to
Can I do that?
this? I mean, the commies ain't going to like this.
Shouldn't it be USSA for the United Socialist States of America?
I mean, I did this last night, and it's a nutty person who is also part of the Young Democrats of Georgia. And I guess I kept asking over and over and over, tell me where your rights come from. And the closest he could get was to, well, it's a Constitution.
Constitution, of course.
That's all he could do.
Yeah, not from our Creator.
Exactly.
Right.
Not that your free will, it comes from God. And that's always the very simple answer. And it's how the country was founded. When I got to that point, it was that matter of sitting back and saying these people have been preached to in a certain way where they deny obvious realities. So by the time we get to a national anthem where you go, that ain't it. Like it all fits together.
But it's all foundational too, right? That love of country is such a foundational thing. Rhino was raised with it. Los, you were raised with it. I was raised with it. We all loved the country. Those protesters outside of the United Center don't love the country. A lot of them are paid agitators. There's a handful of them that are there for, what they feel like is a noble reason, I suppose. But there's just no love of country in the DNC. It is so obvious. They, hold America in such disdain because it was founded on a racist premise. That is their description. That's why. That's why they don't know the words to the national anthem. Of course not. That's why. Look, if they would have just sounded terrible, we would have had a laugh at it, right? Just like when Ingrid Andress did. She was out there drunk. God bless her. She was out there drunk. She's getting help. But
that was the best. Don't bless your heart.
Oh, that's funny.
But you know what I mean? Like we would have had a laugh at it.
Sure.
But it's deeper with the DNC. It's deeper. It's not just that they didn't harmonize well or couldn't keep beat, didn't know when the words were going to start. It's that they don't care. It's never been something that they cared about.
What's their biggest complaint about us? That we have a bunch of nationalists on our side, people who love this country. That's the reality of it. They call us nationalists. Now, they attach white nationalists to us, and they pretend to be nationalists in a way that is not quite the same that we do. And you're absolutely right. They don't have the same love for this country that, their opponents, the nationalists, do.
Well, let's point out something when it comes to those people that were singing the national anthem. Under this party, they sounded perfect.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right? I mean, you can say whatever you want. I'm going to say this. If I was Democrat strategist, if I was handling stuff, you tell them they harmonize as well as anybody.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, come on. I managed to hide Joe Biden for 3.5 years. You think I'm really concerned about a national anthem? No.
Couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. And then we're going to get up on stage and pretend like the last 3.5 years just didn't happen.
They're going to sit back and go, we had a plan here, but we're not able to execute it because you guys won't be honest about what's going on the last 3.5 years.
And the people there in the United Center will just eat out of our hands. And that roll call last night.
Oh my gosh!
Good God! Did that thing ever end? Is it still going on? And that man, that little man that was the DJ at the top wearing that blue coat, with the hat, dude, I've never seen a worse DJ in my whole. I've seen a lot of DJs, and I've seen some bad ones.
Ladies and gentlemen,
dude, no, I mean,
put your hands up.
It was awkward the whole time.
Yeah,
he clearly wasn't sure where his cues are coming from. Same with the roll call. You know, the big goofy dude that was setting up all the states with the big goofy smile.
That guy was weird.
He was so weird.
I thought the same thing. I was like,
freaking weird. Strange. And then it would toss out to wherever the states were, and nobody knew when to say or what to say. And then you had the dude that. Well, anyway,
it was. I said to you guys, I felt like someone forced me to go to a insane asylum and watch a play that they were putting on about politics.
That's exactly
because that's what it looked like. And they got the craziest guy who's like, yeah, let the crazy guy with the big glasses speak.
Disjointed,
that guy had big glasses too.
So disjointed.
Something there.
Yeah.
Oh, here's Little John. Hoop, hoop. DJ Club Socialism.
Dude, but, you know, I mean, look, they had Little John. We had Kid Rock, whatever. I mean,
I don't care.
Yeah, but it's.
But we didn't do it during roll call. We just said, hey, you know, who you voting for?
You'd think the Dems have been out of power for the last 4 years listening to the Obamas last night after a Fox News update.
The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer.
On TikTok, it only takes for teenagers. Now remember, teenagers generally do not have rational thought capabilities.
For sure, yes.
They think they know it all. They think they can think their way through it, but they are physically and mentally incapable of thinking rationally.
They're just not done yet. They're getting here, but they're not quite done. They're really not quite done.
No, they need to stay in the oven just a while.
A couple of years, 3-4 years, and you're fine. 2, 3, 4 years.
But anyway, it takes 10 minutes for TikTok to radically change the mindset of a teenager. 10 minutes of reading this crap on TikTok, and they can fully indoctrinate a teenager.
Bortz and The Kimmer are only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
Intelligent technology that's more intuitive. Electrified power wrapped in sporty elegance. Meet the 2024 Mercedes-Benz C300 sedan. The leader of the pack with a sensual interior, the C300 sedan is a driver's delight and paradise for passengers. Experience the 2024 C300 sedan today. Lease one for just $539 per month for 36 months with $48.33 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through September 3rd, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
Foundation repair isn't pretty, but at Atlanta Ramjack, we make it easy. If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with the repair. Why call us? Foundation repair is all we do. We have highly trained estimators that will thoroughly evaluate your home and only recommend what is needed. If you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Extra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the podcast park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
The legend Neil Bortz is live every week with Atlanta legend The Kimmer.
Donald Trump got shot in the face. He got shot. He was almost assassinated. And for President Scumbag, who is not a nice man, the enabler, the criminal, to come out and talk about a bloodbath if Trump loses, because he got that wrong too, to say that about using bloodbath that Donald Trump is going to murder people if he loses, what kind of nerve is that to start the whole thing going again?
What about that surprised you? Come on, Kimmer.
I know. It's just so riot. That's an insurrection. He's calling for murder. He's trying to get people to shoot Donald Trump again. How is that possibly okay?
I want the people over there at Dickie Radio to do something to you that...
Shut up.
I want them... No. I want them to get a nurse with the blood pressure cuff.
I've got my own blood pressure cuff. I can bring it from home. I got one.
Sports and the Kimmer are only on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app. WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. This hour is presented by Van Sant Law, vansantlaw.com.
She's the formal Democratic nominee now. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We have hard work ahead of us, but we like hard work. Hard work is good work.
Vice President Harris at a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She also remotely addressed the convention in Chicago, where a ceremonial roll call made her and running mate Tim Walz the Democrats' 2024 ticket.
I thank everyone there and here for believing in what we can do together.
In Chicago, the Obamas took the spotlight.
Kamala and Tim understand that when everybody gets a fair shot, we are all better off.
He also said this about former President Trump.
We do not need 4 more years of bluster and bumbling and chaos.
The former First Lady told the convention hope is making a comeback.
Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something.
The crowd chanting back, do something, and the Trump team responding, quote, are they aware that their party has been in charge of the country for the last 3.5 years?
That's Fox's Brooks Singman in Chicago. Former President Trump was in Howell, Michigan, putting a focus on fighting crime as he hits battleground states this week to counter Democrats.
When I'm president of the United States again, we will never even think about or mention the words defund the police.
Now, the former president and his running mate, J.D. Vance, will be in North Carolina today. Back to Chicago, there were more pro-Palestinian demonstrations and American flag burning right outside the Israeli consulate.
The protesters, many clad in black with their faces covered, clashing with Chicago PD, who were out in this massive show of force, many of them in full riot gear. They had to form a line and push the agitators back from the consulate.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. There's been a school shooting overseas in a small town in Bosnia. A school employee killed the principal, a teacher, a secretary, then turned the gun on himself. Now he's seriously injured. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Wake up with the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3 Atlanta.
Tug, Rhino, and Front Office Los on the Morning Extra. The app is the best way to listen. Make sure you download that free for Apple and Android so you can listen to everything on Extra 106.3 live or on demand. That incredible flexibility that we all want. You listen to it whenever you want to listen to it, whenever it works for your schedule. That's the beauty of the Extra 106.3 app.
May I ask you guys both a question about, as we've been making it a point to take in the DNC over the last couple of days, do you not feel every time when you turn your TV on that you're going into an alternative universe?
Yes.
That's the weird part about it.
Yeah.
And again, I look at it and I go, okay, these are Americans, albeit a different version of what I view things and how I view things. And yet we all end up texting each other the same thing. What the hell?
What did they just say? Why are people looking around with confusion as if they're not sure if they can chant USA because, you know, their party despises the country? Hey, we got Neil Bortz, too, before we continue this conversation. Neil Bortz, the talk master, will be joining us at probably about 7:27 here on Extra 106.3. Want to make you
Scurvy didn't get him.
No,
thank goodness.
He's feeling much better.
We were very concerned that Scurvy was going to finish off Neil yesterday.
Let me tell you, scurvy is serious too.
Yeah, that's no joke.
You got to watch out for the scurvy.
Yeah,
but
Navy guy.
I've never seen
a lot there on ships, right?
I've never seen anybody with it actually, but I hear. So I'm told that it is very, very bad, and you need to watch out for it. But I want to start with something that Joe Scarborough said on MSNBC. He says that Republicans, their fear comes from the Democrats, not policy, but joy.
And you look at a convention like that, you can't calculate it. You have in two Republican candidates, two guys who at least publicly, in their public persona, project misery. They're not happy. They're always looking for retribution. They're looking for people to blame. They're looking for a reason to be upset. They're looking for a reason, to resent. And you look at the Democratic National Convention, and I swear I never thought I would see this in my lifetime. As a Republican, I thought it's just too easy to beat Democrats because they're afraid to have a good time. They're afraid to be joyful. They're afraid to wave the flag. I'll tell you, what Republicans feared the most last night was the joy, but also the chants of USA, USA, USA. And why did that ring true? Because the Republican Party has sold itself to a man who lies about America every day and says we're a nation in decline, who lies about America every day and says we're a nation of losers, who lies about America every day and says that we're just on the verge of collapse. No, not true. The data doesn't bear it out economically, militarily, culturally, socially, in every way. This is a great country. So now the Democratic Party can cheer USA, 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 and it's a hell of a contrast with a presidential candidate on the Republican side that talks down about America every day on the side.
A record number of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Record numbers when it comes to credit card debt right now.
And default.
And to listen to Joe Scarborough try and act like we are not a nation in decline
Talking
is
about
hilarious.
the alternate universe, Rhino.
Yeah.
That's just like Lo said, the alternate universe. What world
I went
is
to make-a-believe land.
What world is that dude living in? I remember Barack Obama carrying around the book, The Post-American World. You're talking about somebody that don't believe in the greatness of America.
By the way, that entire book is how what's going to happen with the rise of India and China, and America takes a back seat.
Their whole campaign is that this country is not good because of Donald Trump, right? Isn't that what their whole campaign is? That he's making... So their entire... And again, none of them were waving flags. Let's start with Joe Scarborough's not a Republican. Stop playing that game either.
I actually wrote that down.
Yeah, he's not a Republican.
He's about as Republican as Jeff Duncan and my foot.
But he has a job to do. Pretend that there's hope. Pretend that there's all the stuff that they want. Joy. Because they have nothing else. He didn't mention the economy and that, record prices for, consumer products. People that, especially in low-income families and the middle class that are getting gouged by the inflation, by the interest rates, by the things that are destroying this country. Today, again, the jobs report will come out and they are going to readjust probably 600,000 jobs to 1 million, maybe even more. And once again, we're going to see that this failed policy, this lie that they continue to put out there. The only one telling you the truth about the direction that we're heading with 2 wars going on, that we're funding, the economy, the open borders, the unsafe Americans, is Donald Trump. So I see it the other way. The only one that cares about this country and making sure that all of us are safe is Donald Trump.
He's not infallible. It's not like he's some sort of... It's not Yoda. Okay?
No, I don't worship at the altar of Trump by any means.
Not at all.
At all.
But I do sit back and say, and I've said this for the last several days, you do need an adult in the room, a dad in the room. He's being that guy who's telling you the stuff that you... And there's times where... You don't want dad to tell you, hey, here's how bad it is, here's what we got to do. And you're like, yeah, I don't know, dad.
Well, it's just like any other kid that gets a lesson from their dad. I remember when my son, who's 20 now and started his sophomore year in college yesterday, I remember telling him things growing up, and he hated it. I could see it on his face. Like, I am tired of listening to you. I'm tired of what you're telling me. And then 3, 4, 5 years later, he come back. You remember when you told me whatever the lesson was? He's like, you're right.
Well, imagine if you were to BS your son on a regular basis. And then by the time, like, let's say from like 15 to 20, you BS your son. You know, I think about Rhino. You tell your son, here's what's going on, and I'm lying to you for 5 years. Mm-hmm. By the time he gets to, 2021, he has this great awakening and goes, what the hell?
Yeah, why did he lie to me? Why, Dad, did you lie to me for all those years?
I was like, that's what is going on right now.
Experience and life experience will wake you up better than any book, better than anything that you've ever read. Life experience will pop you right in the mouth.
Well, I think that's what's going to. This is why I think people are caught up in this joy and all this stuff now.
It sounds great.
And it sounds great inside an arena like that. Then you go home and then you realize, hold on one second. The man who just spoke and spoke eloquently was in charge.
Devil speaks
for
eloquently
8 years.
too, by the way.
Yeah. His vice president, who he did not get along with, no matter what they said, then had 4 years. And we can attach Kamala Harris that 12 out of the 16 years. Are we better off? What are we going back to? What are we moving forward to? When you talk about, hey, we're taking this forward, taking what forward? What you've done to this country in the past 3.5 years? We don't want to move forward with this. This is not good. When we look at what she's proposing, it's not good. You're talking about a 35% increase on corporate taxes. Corporations aren't paying it. Laborers are paying it. The labor force will pay those taxes for the corporations. So it's just another tax on you that will cost the American people $5 trillion in tax increases over the next 10 years based on their plan. And it's been their plan since the beginning. 12 of 16 years, people are going to wake up and go, you know what? Hold on one second. I am paying $5 for eggs. I am paying too much for gas. I am paying too much for rent. So I don't think that people are going to fall for it after this whole, first infusion of joy and happiness and excitement. When they get down to their pocketbooks and their kitchen tables, reality checks in.
No question about it. I'm telling you, last night listening to Michelle Obama, I want to bring in a clip of her where she's talking about her parents being suspicious of people that took more than they needed. This is a woman that has multiple houses and one in Martha's Vineyard that is worth more than all of our houses and you listening right now combined.
My mom, in her steady, quiet way, lived out that striving sense of hope every single day of her life. She believed that all children, all people have value, that anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
So, are they suspicious of you right now?
You took more than you needed. How many houses
do you need?
Open them up to all the illegals. How about the ones that rape women? How about the ones that kill women? Open those up. They won't do that. Listen, this is their way of saying, because the reality is they're all there because the opportunities their family had. They want you to feel, because they brought back that neighborhood thing. Oh, back in the day, you took care of your neighborhood. You took care of your neighbors. We all still do that. In fact, churches, everyone else continue to take care of people. What we don't want is people who don't want to take care of other people and want to live off of somebody else. They want you to think about handouts. That entire thing about the neighbor is saying the government is your neighbor.
Let me give you some great news. 7:13, here's where we're at. The betting markets, and it's fluctuated back and forth. You had Donald Trump, who was a large betting favorite for quite a while during the summer. It then actually flipped. The whole Kamala Harris bump, here's where it came from. And suddenly she was a betting favorite for a small amount of time. All right, Donald Trump is back in front by about 4 points when it comes to the betting markets. Every time they air any of this stuff, he keeps getting more momentum. So tonight, you're going to sit back and you're going to be like, oh, what are they going to march out there? And by the time we get around to Kamala on Thursday, oh, what is she going to say? The more they talk, the more Donald Trump is electable.
And it's understandable why, because she talks in circles. She can relate on a pre-K level. People see through that sheen of hope and joy. They see through that sheen of, man, everybody's happy because all you have to do is look outside their building and you realize everybody's not happy.
Obama's going out there and telling you everything's good.
Yeah.
Just feeds into what's happening now.
Absolutely. You know, the whole thing is to make Kamala likable. There's a reason why they all went to, I love her laugh. They know that laugh doesn't work. They are trying to make her more likable every single day. That's why this entire convention yesterday was about introducing Kamala Harris in a different light. The light that people have seen and know, and the reason that she never got a primary vote the first time and couldn't even make it through the primaries, and in fact just got demolished on stage. There's a reason she's afraid to debate Donald Trump on Fox News or take more than one debate unless it's in a safe space like ABC. They don't want her getting up there, except they want to be able to talk for her. They want to be able to take away, but they're sitting and they're trying to make her more likable. The truth of the matter is, again, it's all going to come back to their pocketbooks.
And Michelle Obama's pocketbook and Barack Obama's pocketbook, because I want to go back and make something clear, because I said, how many houses do you need? I want to be really perfectly clear here. I don't care how many houses they have.
I don't either.
God bless America. I'm not envious of anything they have.
Put your money where your mouth is, though.
But that's right. I celebrate the fact that they've been able to achieve the American dream, probably beyond what most people will be ever able to achieve. I'm not envious of that, and I applaud it. Why don't they? Yeah. That's the question. Why don't they applaud?
Don't be hypocritical.
It's so weird how they play that game of they are worth so much money, yet they try and pretend like, no, we're just common folk.
All shucks.
Oh, shucks.
Well, we're told every single day that, we're told every day they can never get ahead. They never have the opportunity. Everybody should have the same opportunity. And then they go up there and say, only in this country can someone like myself have the opportunity to be where I am today on the stage. That's how ridiculous the hypocrisy of this is. Again, these are socialist and communist ideas. If you don't want to call them communists, that's fine. Call them what they call themselves, Democrat socialists.
You have, when Michelle Obama went up on stage and started talking about the issues going on with America and how she was down for the struggle, at the same time, she has a $20 million beach home. Now, keep in mind, as somebody who loves beach property, I'm sitting back going, I'm like, you get it, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool.
Great view.
At the same time, you can't play the pomper who's like, hey, you're just a regular average Joe. It just doesn't work.
Because you ain't. And I want to read a headline from The Hill, and I'm going to see if y'all could bring back maybe a memory of something you've heard like this before. On The Hill, the headline is, voters have to elect Kamala to find out what she'll do. It's almost as if you've heard that before when we have to pass it to find out what's in it. Isn't that the Democrat way of doing things? We have to get it done, and then we'll figure out how it works. Yeah, exactly. In The Hill, they have the courage to go back to that same trough. We got to pass it to find out what's in it. We got to elect her to find out what she'll do.
We don't need to elect her to find out what she'll do. They've already told us what she'll do.
Hell, we've seen it for the last 3.5 years. We know exactly what she's going to do.
Exactly, 3.5 years. We've seen Harrisnomics, Bidenomics, whatever you want to call it. She's actually going to take it the next level. She's going to move it forward. In other words, she is going to make sure that they are going to actually reduce corporate wages, increase prices people pay, and drain their retirement savings so they can live off of the government. That's what I see. I already know what she's going to do.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. It's pretty straightforward. She's going to flip-flop. She's going to change. And look, again, you can change your opinion on things. I've changed my opinion many times on things. But there's a difference, I think, in saying, oh, no, I didn't want to defund the police. While you actually did that. Did you learn your lesson? Tell me why you learned your lesson. Tell me why you've changed your mind on that. Not that you've just changed your mind.
I kind of feel like my Kamala Harris moment is basically saying, you know what, I used to like mustard, now I don't. All right, so it sounds trivial, right?
Right.
Like you roll your eyes like what, it's just mustard. That's how she treats everything.
Right. Yeah,
she treats everything like mustard. She sits back and you're like, well, I decided this is how it's going to be. I'm like, these are too big of issues for you to be this flippant about it.
Just so flippant about it. That's exactly what I was, exactly right. Flippant's the right word to use there. Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. When we come back, we're going to hit the headlines And then hear from the one and only Talkmaster Neil Bortz, legendary voice in Atlanta radio that can only be heard. Sound like my grandma back in Northwest Georgia. She used to say heard. The only person you can hear, only way you can hear Neil Bortz is to listen to Extra 1063.
The left-wing media is pushing counterfeit polls and bogus headlines, all while ignoring the stories that matter most. Trust the conservative voice of Atlanta for the real truth without the media spin. The Morning Extra, Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton, The Kimmer Show, Jesse Kelly, and the voices you need most are all on Extra 1063 and the Extra app.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months right here on Extra 1063.
I know you got a lot of things on your mind. Probably getting the kids ready to go to school, dropping them off, or getting them to the school bus stop. You know, if you think about the election that we've been talking about, something coming up in November, the DNC that's going on now, like what are your thoughts there? What are you thinking about? And that's some heavy stuff. The other thing, football, right around the corner. Maybe you've been thinking about that. Don't forget fall's around the corner too. And those leaves start to drop and they will fill up your gutters. And when it rains, where's that water going? And the roof, does that thing need some attention? Does it have a leak? Have you faced that before? And you know that water is the worst possible thing that can happen inside your home. It can cause mold. It can cause decay. There's so many things that might need some attention inside your home.
Hey, Tug.
Oh, my gosh. Home. Is that you?
House.
Is that you again, Home?
You got to keep the water out.
I know. How did you learn that lesson, Home?
Because I got water inside now.
See, that's
you had to help me get it out.
That's the worst thing to possibly happen to you. Southern Exterior has been protecting homes like my home you just heard from across the Southeast since 1999. So whether it's gutter cleaning or adding gutter covers, maybe it's time for new gutters, a fix in that leaky roof, or replacing the roof. Whatever your need is, don't wait till the weather changes. Get your home ready today. 8779-SOUTHERN, 8779-SOUTHERN, southernexteriors.co, southernexteriors.co.
Millions of guys suffer from erectile dysfunction. That's 1 in 4 men. And I can tell you, I'm one of them.
If you or someone you know suffer from ED, Peyronie's disease, or PE, here's 38-year emergency room doctor and founder of Total Body Therapy of Georgia, Dr. Eric Deal.
Patients who enter my office are often frustrated, hopeless, depressed, and embarrassed. I understand the problem, and I'm going to help you fix it. There are lots of competitors that don't have the credentials that I have. When you go to other clinics, you're not going to see a board-certified physician with the experience that I have. When you come to our clinic, you're going to see me. There's just not one therapy that can solve these complex issues. I'll do a complete history and physical prior to any treatment that we use. Take it from me, Dr. Deal. When it's not hard, it's really hard.
Call Dr. Deal for your free one-on-one evaluation and resolve your ED, Peyronie's, or PE issues. Total Body Therapy of Georgia, 404-777-1911, 404-777-1911, online at stopmyed.com.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to The Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Low on energy? Struggling with inflammation and poor digestion? Try Encapsulate 6 Mushroom Blend and get back in the game. Our blend is specially formulated to promote overall wellness and maximize health benefits using 6 powerful functional mushrooms. Our science-forward approach offers the most potent and bioavailable mushroom supplement on the market, backed by third-party testing to ensure safety and efficacy. Order online on Amazon or encapsulateusa.com today to start your journey to better living. Enter promo code 680 for $10 off.
School may be back in, but the Braves have tons of giveaways and huge matchups this month, like when the Philadelphia Phillies and Washington Nationals come to Truist Park, August 20th through the 25th. The Phillies series begins with a Chick-fil-A cow bobblehead giveaway on the 20th, followed by the Ozzie Albies and his dog Poochie bobblehead giveaway on the 21st, presented by Behringer Ingelheim.
Olsen uncorks one to deep right center field, flying to the wall and kiss it goodbye. Home run by Matt Olsen into the Braves bullpen.
And then get ready for Alumni Weekend, presented by your local Ford dealer, August 23rd through the 25th. The weekend includes the Braves Legends Parade through the Battery and the Alumni Roll Call on the field on Friday, followed by autograph sessions with your favorite former Braves and the always competitive Home Run Derby competition on Saturday. Don't miss the fun this August. Find all the details and get your tickets at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, August 21st. A 32-year-old mother and her 4-year-old son were found safe after being abducted from their home in Roswell. According to Roswell police, Forsyth County Sheriff's deputies spotted a car being driven by Brian Batania, the suspected abductor and the mother's boyfriend. Batania was taken into custody 7 hours after the Levi's call was put out. His charges have not been disclosed. Carroll County Deputy Taylor Bristow, who had been shot in the face while serving a search warrant, is out of surgery and recovering in the intensive care unit at Grady Memorial Hospital. Deputy Bristow was working with the GBI to serve a warrant for alleged child sexual exploitation at the time. Officials say the suspected gunman is dead. The GBI also reported that no officers fired their weapons during the encounter. And in sports, Marcell Ozuna homered and Reynaldo Lopez pitched 5 strong innings in his return to the mound as the Atlanta Braves beat the first-place Phillies 3-1 last night at Truist Park. The Braves will go for their 4th win in a row tonight when they take on the Phillies in a 7:20 matchup. Max Fried will be on the mound for the Braves. As always, you can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra, and the only place you can hear the exceptional ideas from Neil Bortz is on Extra 106.3. Neil joins us. Neil, you feeling better, buddy?
I'm feeling a lot better. In fact, I'm sitting here reading an article in Vogue about tinted moisturizers.
Whoa. Wait, hang on. Hang on.
Wait, hold on. First start with Vogue.
What grabs the talk master's attention?
Like, wait, hold on. Tinted this?
Is always worth hearing about.
Right.
Tinted moisturizers for mature skin.
Okay. All right. Tinted moisturizers.
Yeah.
So that's a way of saying old wrinkly skin, mature skin now?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fancy.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Got to make it sound as good as you possibly can. Yeah. So have you been keeping? Okay. Well, then never mind.
No, I haven't.
Not at all. You didn't watch any of the DNC. You've not kept up with any of it.
I have not watched.
Good for you.
10 seconds of the DEI convention.
Good for you, because when you jump into that world, and I've joked around with the guys, it feels like you're going to an alternative universe.
Yeah.
I know what's happening. I know where we're going. I know what's going to happen. At least I think I do. And, I'm just sitting here saying, this is how I will deal with it. Now, so I knew when I tuned in this morning, and I've been listening to y'all for a while with my little headset on.
Attaboy.
Yeah, and I knew I would hear what I needed to know about what happened at the DEI convention last night. Mm-hmm. And it's Big Mike.
Yeah.
None of us said it,
Neil.
but we have all thought it.
What an idiotic, stupid, suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. And immediately your mind goes to from each according to their ability, to each according to their needs. Mm-hmm. I mean, where do we get this mantra about you shouldn't have more than you need? Now, the follow-up questions. Okay, how much do I need? Who decides what I need? So that we will all know that I'm not taking more than I need. Who decides?
Who's the arbiter?
Yep, who else but the government?
Yep.
The government will decide what you need. Now, that might apply. Taking more than you need, it might apply to some kid in one of our government monopoly educational establishments that we call schools. It might apply to some kid going up to the front of the class and taking more than he needs. I know there's a mute button on this thing somewhere. More than he needs. Yeah, from the communal pencil box.
Yeah.
Okay? But it doesn't apply to getting out there and working your butt off and ending up with more than somebody else has because they didn't work as hard.
But why, Neil, is it okay for her to have 10 homes? Like, what? How many homes does she need? Like, her mantra doesn't match her lifestyle.
Who are we talking about?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle.
Big Mike.
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
Who is she talking to?
Yeah.
She's talking to Democrat voters. You expect Democrat voters to say, but she's got 10 homes.
Yes, I do, Neil. Yes,
no,
I do.
They don't think that way.
No, they already gave us the honesty of it. The one thing they said is Donald Trump is against the government being involved in your life and helping you out. We want the government to be in your life. At the same time, they go on the other side and say, well, the government shouldn't be in your room and shouldn't be here, but they want to own your home. They want to run your life. They think government help is the answer, and the government is supposed to be there to help them. They said it over and over last night.
Of course they do, because that's the way they're wired, and that's the way they're bringing up our kids. I wish I could get this point across to more people. I know a lot of people get it. I mean, once again, if you go to a Christian school, you are going to come out of there thinking that Christianity is the guide for your life. If you go to a Hebrew academy, Judaism is the guide for my life. But these kids are going to government schools, and they come out of there, government is my God, government is my guide for life, government will provide. And this is this is what they learn from 6 years old. And the parents of this country are too damned dense to understand what's going on and agitate day after day after day for more school choice and live up to the responsibility of having a child and educate that child out of the monopoly educational system run by the government.
Neil Bortz, Talkmaster, is
I
joining
need
us.
decaf.
We got the 0FG for you. That work?
He's joining us on Extra 1063, and I'm right there with you. After I saw Joe Biden speak on stage, I checked in with the Obamas just to make myself a little bit crazy. The wild part about this is that there is a constant state of victimization, and so it doesn't really matter how many homes you own. It doesn't matter that the Democrats had the House, the Senate, and the presidency for 2 years. They have basically taken the last 3.5 years and acting like they were not in charge. So they're talking about hope. Hey, this is what we're going to be able to do when you put us back in charge. They've been in charge, Neil.
Well, yeah, they've pulled so many stupid stunts on the American people. Like they wiped out hundreds of thousands of jobs during the COVID thing with shutdowns and what have you. And then those jobs start coming back. And the Democrats convinced the American people, look at all these jobs we're creating. I mean, and then nothing illustrates the ignorance of the American people.
No,
more than this idea that corporations pay taxes. And I'm going to raise corporate taxes. And the dumb masses, you have to be real careful how you say. There has to be a pause there, okay? Dumb masses. They sit back and say, yeah, those evil corporations, they're taking more, they make too much money. And have no idea that they pay every damn penny of those taxes that are levied against corporations.
Absolutely. And, part of the thing, I want to go back to what you said about, the education and government control is the one thing that they kept going back to, and they're really upset about Donald Trump saying, hey, we need to get rid of the Department of Education and allow parents to have the choice in their education and their children's education. And that was a big defense to them yesterday was, this is the kind of government control and help you need. You need to have a Department of Education. And that was scary because I think they don't understand the corporate tax. They don't understand the economy. And that's why I think they get confused a little bit.
Why do they not understand it? Well, because it's certainly not taught in government schools. And by the way, you just gave me a new little meme, if you will. Oh, no, it just, listen, you said Department of Education, but it came across to my ear as Department of Vegetation. And I think... I am a little hard of hearing.
That's all right. You're a handsome devil.
No, it is. I mean, you wear headphones for 53 years.
Yeah.
And then grow up on Marine air bases with jets. And
okay, Tim Walls.
Yeah.
It's almost like sounds like combat.
Well, it is.
Dodging bullets there, Hillary?
It is probably the only source of constant conflict between me and the Queen is because, thank you, Lord, she does not have one of these screechy female voices.
And I'll tell you this, Neil, and this is where it's a giant compliment to you and to other gentlemen of your age. One of the things that I am amazed by is how oftentimes you'll act like you can't hear. Mm-hmm. You're just choosing not to hear.
Yeah, my father-in-law's a king of that.
Man, like the fact that you guys know at a certain time, don't listen to the lady.
Right. And by the way, how come the Queen came on Kimmer with you and she talked to the guys over there and you never bring the Queen on to say hello to us? I want to know why.
Still in bed.
That's fair. See, yeah.
Right.
Good point.
But she has, you heard her, she has a soft, mellow voice.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. And she's definitely your better half, too. I could tell that.
Yeah. And so when she decides to say something to me, she'll be sitting on the other side of our salon, which most people would, and she'll just, I'll see her mouth moving.
Okay.
So I have to walk. What did you say? Where's your hearing aid?
I took it out on purpose.
Oh, I haven't put them in yet, they're broken. They've been broken for 6 months. But then sometimes I'm standing up and right under an air conditioning vent, and I see your mouth moving.
There you go. My dad's got a mute button for his hearing aids on his phone when my mom starts talking.
No, he
just checks out.
Yeah, just checks right out.
That's the most amazing thing I've ever heard.
That's a great idea. But I said, here they are. They're in this little case. Take them over there. Get them repaired. Get them working again. She doesn't do it. So anyway, I saw some of the demonstrators out there cancel my student loan. I tell you, here's my get-rich-quick scheme for the day. Start the printing presses now and start printing the cancel my mortgage signs, because once the hyena gets into office, that's going to be one of the next big deals, is canceling mortgages for the poor, pathetic, pitiful poor.
Yeah.
And then after that, cancel my credit card debt.
My car payment.
And cancel my car payments. I mean, why does it not make as much sense to demand that the government cancel your student loan, which is a private sector debt? Why does it not make as much sense cancel as it would make to cancel my mortgage or cancel my park?
No, it would all work the same exact way.
I can't get ahead. I can't get ahead with this mortgage. Cancel my mortgage. And
how about you cancel property taxes instead of my mortgage? I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we sold our place at. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Oh, how we loved our condo at the top of the St. Regis in Butthead. We really did. But the property.
I think we lost Neil. There's back.
But when we sold, it was $60 $60,000 a year from, I say penthouse because it was on top. Okay, fine. But it was only a little over 3,000 square feet. 60,000. And the Atlanta Fulton County tax appraisers, they said, yeah, but you've got a swimming pool.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, the hotel has a swimming pool.
Right.
It's
like unrealized gains. You know what I mean? That's what that feels like. Those are kissing cousins, it seems.
But we really miss that. We really miss that condo. And did we have the money? Yeah. Did it make any sense to pay it? No, it did not. And our property taxes here in Naples are maybe, well, they're less than half of that.
Wow.
I don't know. Donna pays them. I don't know exactly.
She cuts the check. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even write a check. Last time I wrote a check, the bank called Donna and said, we don't recognize this signature.
It's been too long. Neil, I want to ask you about something that Barack Obama said, and we won't play the cut here, but he basically was saying last night at the DNC, the other side, talking about conservatives or Republicans or even libertarians for that point, says the other side thinks the government's inherently corrupt. Yes, we do. And give me one reason not to think that, Barack Obama.
I know. And it is. I mean, power breeds corruption. And these people, we had a primary election here yesterday. And some of these people are friends of mine, okay? We go out into the Everglades sometimes with our long rifles. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, that's so much fun. But why are these people in public office? And I'm talking about school boards, county commissioners, city aldermen, all the way to the top. Why are they in office? And overwhelmingly, it's because it makes me powerful. And power breeds, absolutely, down the line, breeds corruption.
Power and money, and both are just by nature of the business are highly involved in the government because you control people's life and their money.
Think about this ability. I am in a position to take money away from you by force and spend it on things that I think that it should be spent on. Imagine having that kind of power.
Yeah.
How do you remain pure and chaste with that kind of power? There was a libertarian, I can't remember his name right now, many, many moons ago, that in a book he wrote, the government has one power that you do not have, that you will never have, that your business, no matter how successful, will never have. The government has this power, and that is to achieve any goal it has through the use of force. And we need to remember that. These people that are running for office, and that includes the hyena, that includes Donald Trump, all of these people, they will have the power to achieve their goals through the use of force. That is the very nature of government. And you know what? It has to be the very nature of government. But we need to control it very, very carefully, and we need to control the people that we grant that power to very, very carefully. And the dumb masses are not up to that right now. They just aren't.
Do you think we'll ever have a candidate, though, that's not a little bit narcissistic and power hungry in that manner? I mean, I don't see people who go into politics.
Run.
Right. Well, there you go. But I think a lot of sane people like us won't run. I wouldn't run.
Never.
I mean, there are so many people that won't.
I'm going to be a benevolent dictator.
Yeah, that's true. Carlos would.
I love that.
I would take that. I would.
At least he's being honest.
Me a year as benevolent dictator, and as Obama says, I will fundamentally transform the United States into what our founding first thing I would do, 17th Amendment, gone. Second thing, income tax, gone. Fair tax. Yeah, I would love it, but boy, you'd have to put me behind a 40-foot steel wall to keep me safe.
Yeah, no kidding. That's it's just unbelievable to hear what fundamentally changing America means and what people thought it might have meant at the time.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Cybertruck is so damn ugly. Someday I'm going to hit one just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the story of raccoons trying to break into these things? There was a story of raccoons, these little raccoons. I mean, they're just wearing out the seams trying to get in there because they think it's a dumpster. I'm not kidding. This is real
funny.
That's
unfortunate.
I mean, you just spend all that money, raccoons just eating that thing up.
Stupid looking truck.
It's so dumb.
That's
looking.
great. Raccoons are smarter than we are.
Yes, they are, Neil Bortz. Yes, they are. They're like, what kind of garbage can I get in there?
Yeah.
Neil, make it a great day.
Okay, you two people, be good.
God bless you and the Queen, sir. This is the Morning Extra on Extra 106.3. Tim Walz is lying about everything. But why? Why? Next on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10. The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
It was 1876. Thomas Edison received a patent for his mimeograph machine. The ones with that purple ink that usually you can't read, but the sniff test.
You smell them.
Smelling those mimeograph sheets.
And we got high as kite.
The Kimmer Show, every afternoon from 3 to 6 p.m. on Extra 106.3 and the Extra app.
All right, I just want you to pay attention to what's going on in the world. I want you to just investigate for yourself. I want you to see that with the proposals that Kamala Harris has put out, well, that would create shortages, that would create higher prices for the goods you need, the essentials that you want. They'll even start rationing out. How much water can you have? How much food can you have? We need to take your guns. It's your patriotic duty to give that over as well. Well, there's one place that completely disagrees, and it's one place that I love, and that's True Prep in Marietta on Cobb Parkway, a locally owned and operated company run by Matt and Joey, both Georgia Tech engineers, graduated from Georgia Tech right here in our state, and they care about you. The one great thing is that you can walk in there and you can do it yourself if you want and buy some Mylar bags, buy some oxygen absorbers, even a machine called the Harvest Right Freeze Dryer to freeze dry your own food. Or they've got everything ready to go and prepackaged. And they have experts there, local experts who understand what you need and will set you in the right direction. They love helping you out. They even have heirloom seeds there, but they also have water filtration. They also have firearms, firearm accessories, ammo, and first aid kits. And not only that, they have a beautiful facility right there in Marietta on Cobb Parkway with an area for workshops. And they do workshops, a lot of them. Why? Because they want you to understand what you need to do in case of an emergency. They have some great ones coming up, including their personal security, their intro to emergency preparedness, their bug out bag class, their defensive shotgun, intro to water filtration. They want you to be prepared in case of any kind of emergency. Go to their website, trueprep.com, and check out all the workshops and sign up for some of them. Tell them that Rhino sent you over there, and they'll get you started right away. True Prep, TRU prep.com. Prepare today for a worry-free tomorrow with our friends over at True Prep.
When you buy a Subaru from Subaru of Gwinnett, you're buying more than a vehicle. You're buying safety for your family and something that will last a long, long time. In other words, you're buying trust. For a limited time, you can celebrate amazing offers on the all-new Forester, Crosstrek, or Outback during the Subaru A Lot to Love event now through September 3rd. Plus, you can enjoy special financing on select new 2024 Outback models. And you'll love more than just your new Subaru. You'll love the dedicated staff at Subaru of Gwinnett with some of the best service specialists in the area and a team you know you can trust. You'll ride with peace of mind knowing that Subaru of Gwinnett has your back. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event, you'll find that Subaru model you've always dreamed about at a price that makes that dream come true. But you'll need to get in by September 3rd to take advantage. We'll make it easy. Just start with a test drive. And before you know it, you'll be in the Subaru you love. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Then stop by on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Election coverage is more than polls and numbers. It's about what matters in your life and your community. And Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station cares about your community, your voice, and most importantly, your vote. So keep it all here for the latest and download the Extra 106.3 app and keep up with Atlanta's only conservative voice.
Tim Walz is lying about everything. I mean, dude, I don't know how he keeps all the lies straight. All the truth stretching, all of it. There's so many lows. I can't keep up with them all. I don't know how he does.
I don't know how this guy has jumped on the national scene and has this many. Because let's face it, every politician has something, right? I mean, it's kind of the nature of the business. So the guy has his stolen valor issue where he talked about serving over in the war. Talked about Bagram Air Force Base and seeing people taken basically put into caskets on an airplane. And he's like, hold on a second. You've never been to Bagram Air Force Base. You've never been to Iraq. You've never been to Afghanistan. You've never been deployed to either one of them. And then the dude ends up basically saying, hey, IVF, yeah, my wife and I had this issue. And if anyone has ever been through that, you recognize how hard that is to the uncertainty of what goes on a monthly basis, whether or not the pregnancy is going to happen, whether or not it's going to take. And the fact that he decided that even on something as delicate, more so than even just being in service to the country overseas, but something as delicate as pregnancy, he decided to lie about, and his wife had to go out and clarify.
So
it's just gross, man.
Let me get this straight.
Well, CNN had to clarify as well, and so did the New York Times. That's how bad it was.
Let me get this straight. This is a guy who would use that delicate of a topic, and then outside the building that he's in, they're handing out free abortions. I think they're up to killing 25 babies. So you're telling me that this is so delicate and it's something that has been so impactful on our family, and we weren't sure we're going to be able to have children. Yet you're giving away free murders. Those two things just don't sync up. You can't say it's so delicate, it's so hard, and then at the same time toss it away like it's garbage. Those things don't go together.
You're trying to make sense of things that don't make any sense.
Of course.
But this is what they do. This is a relation thing. This is what Joe Biden did his entire career, relating to the people of San Antonio by saying he loves breakfast burritos, relating to people in the inner city by saying I went to the pool. They have a great basketball team and they like to pet my legs. These kind of weird things. Tim Walz is lying about the smallest little things. He won a spicy food contest 3 times in a row. This is how little. I mean, these are the kind of lies. And then he says, well, we don't even season our food. And, this guy is so weird. He lies about everything. He lied about being deaf to get out of a DUI. Yeah. He lied about carrying a gun in war. He lied about being a command sergeant major. He lied about conceiving his children through IVF.
So let me show you.
Oh, and a head football coach, by the way, too.
Oh, that was another one.
Sorry. Forgot about that one.
Oh, I won a state championship. Brother, you weren't even the JV coach. They had to fire you because you had a DUI. All right? I'm not sure you're really aware of this sort of stuff, but you're not allowed to do this. Now, let me show you this woman. So this...
oh, my God.
I know. This is Mia Enrenberg.
Yeah.
So Mia was the campaign spokesman for Mr. Tim Walz. And as she put it, Governor Walz talks how normal people talk. He was using commonly understood shorthand for fertility treatments. Now, that's a young woman, early 20s. She doesn't know, more than likely. And again, I'm assuming, but she doesn't know what it's like to be late 20s, early 30s, and to have to deal with IVF.
And I know plenty of women
and
who
how
have.
sensitive that is.
Absolutely.
And yet she's sitting out there trying to alibi for this. Listen, lady, you don't realize, as much as stolen valor is a bigger deal to me, you just stepped in it with American women.
It is a bigger deal, but Rhino, at my core, I cannot get away from that. So I'll repeat it again. You can't tell me how delicate it is to have a baby and create life while outside the building you're destroying it. Those are not compatible.
No, not at all. It's a hypocrisy that they don't want you to uncover because they know that their base is going to listen and go down the route that Carlos just said. I could have predicted exactly what they were going to say. But that's the entire point. There's no need to lie. The truth of the matter is this. You did have to have some kind of treatment in order to have those babies. It may not. Why lie about that? Why use it? Why not use your, experience of not being able to relate it to that? But they don't. He also lied about kids were only out in his state for 10 days, maybe, of the school year, when we know they were closed for over 47% of the school year.
This is the unfortunate
These are all lies.
Scenario that goes on is that because of the way that women end up being activated, when you have the scenario of talking about, hey, you have an abortion clinic just outside, that doesn't activate them. What activates them is you lied about pregnancy.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's what it's gross.
Yeah.
But that is what ends up activating these house moms.
It's like when Michelle says, we're suspicious. My parents were suspicious of people taking too much while living at Martha's Vineyard.
You know what?
In a $1 billion complex.
You go talk to your wife during the break. Go ask her about if somebody lied about IVF versus abortion.
When we come back on Extra 106.3, Kamala couldn't be seen with the Obamas at the DNC last night. But it doesn't matter in the end. Next on Extra 106.3 after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Extra 106.3.
So once again, there's the Democrat god, Barack Obama, speaking at the convention last night. And once again, here I am, the pudding stick, asking you to tell me one single person, just one, involved in raising and nurturing Barack Obama who loved America. Just one. You can't. Stanley Ann Dunham, his mother, so hated this country that she left her husband, Lolo Sotero, in the Philippines and moved to Hawaii. Why? Because Lolo was expressing admiration for American businessmen. But that she could not put. In Hawaii, she befriended Frank Marshall Davis, member of the Communist Party, who became Obama's mentor as he was growing up in that state. A state in which, by the way, and I lived there, a huge number of the native residents also hated America. Once Obama got to the United States and Occidental College, his best friends and associates were radical communists. I actually flew to California one time to interview one of them. He told me that Obama constantly talked of a violent overthrow of the American government. He talked Obama into doing it the right way through politics. Then you have Jeremiah Wright. Do I have to remind you about him? When Obama decided to announce his candidacy for Senate in Illinois, he did so at the home of Bill Ayers, a terrorist, a communist. Look him up sometime. Google Bill Ayers, Ayers. And then after he's elected, he tells us he's going to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Into what? And his transition leader told us we will be ready to rule from day one. Rule Barack Obama, our hero of the Democrat Party. No, I did not watch his speech last night. I wanted to be able to sleep. Neil Bortz, Extra 106.3.
Diamonds Direct Atlanta is now open. The nation's fastest growing jewelry store now is a location right here in Buckhead. Shopping for the perfect ring to pop the question? Or maybe an everyday diamond tennis bracelet? The experts at Diamonds Direct are sure to have exactly what you're looking for, no matter the occasion. With the lowest direct importer pricing, you can expect the best selection of certified diamonds at unmatched prices, all within a luxury showroom atmosphere that makes you feel right at home. Come see what other jewelers are trying to replicate. Diamonds Direct's unbeatable after-the-sale guarantees and warranties are the best you can find. Free cleanings, sizing, polishing, accent diamond replacement for the lifetime of your purchase. If that's not enough, they also offer a 110% upgrade policy for you to use as often as you'd like on your diamond engagement ring, pendant, or studs. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, come see how Diamonds Direct is reinvigorating the jewelry industry at their brand new Buckhead showroom. When you want to have complete confidence in your jewelry buying experience, shop with the experts at Diamonds Direct. Now open on the corner of Maple Drive Northeast and Peachtree.
Hey everybody, it's Neil Bortz, an actual attorney spokesperson for Van Sant Law. Notice the heavy traffic out there? Yup, school's back in session. Things can happen. Sometimes people aren't that careful. Maybe an accident. But David Van Sant, he's there to help smooth the way for you if somebody you love gets hurt. Call Van Sant Law at 855-GA-INJURY. 855-GA-INJURY. First call after 9/11, Van Sant Law. 855-GA-INJURY.
WFOM and W292 EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 8 a.m. hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air.
A former president stumps for perhaps the next one. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I am feeling hopeful.
Barack Obama in the Democratic spotlight in Chicago.
This convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible.
Backing Vice President Kamala Harris, saying we don't need 4 more years of Trump bluster and chaos.
We have seen that movie before, and we all know that the sequel is usually worse.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama also took the DNC stage.
Something wonderfully magical is in the air, isn't it?
Saying that feeling is hope, making a comeback. Now, Vice President Harris was not there, but did address the convention remotely from a rally in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, after a ceremonial roll call for her nomination, touting
a future for freedom, opportunity of optimism and faith.
Former President Trump campaigned in Howell, Michigan.
The border czar, Kamala Harris, has allowed hordes of illegal alien criminals to literally stampede into our country. We're going to end that on day one. We're going to close our border. We're going to get all of the bad ones out.
Today, he and running mate J.D. Vance will go to another battleground state, North Carolina. Now, the former president could get a boost from an endorsement. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s running mate, Nicole Shanahan, tells Fox the Independent is considering dropping out and backing Trump.
I have to say there's only one party that has obstructed a fair election for us. And unfortunately, it was the Democratic Party. They've done everything they can, including creating PACs to prevent us from being able to have ballot access.
Speaking of ballots, Arizona's Supreme Court and Montana's Secretary of State have approved abortion questions for voters in November. It would enshrine rights in both states' constitutions until a fetus could live outside the womb about 24 weeks into a pregnancy. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
For hourly Fox News updates and the best in conservative news and talk, keep it on Extra 1063 or download the Extra 1063 app.
So many things to kick around about the DNC last night, including
Chuck Schumer's little jaunt, his little dance, his little waltz.
Oh, it was horrible.
To the stage. What was that? I mean, it looked like he was not sure what to do, so he was trying to be joyful in his, his ascension onto the stage.
Yeah, they said you got to come out with joy, and he's like,
Does the PP dance look like joy to anybody? Because that's what it looked like to me. I've never seen anybody doing the PP dance that were joyful. They were looking for a bathroom.
He came out like one of those things they put out in front of the car dealership, those sock things with his arms flailing in the air.
That's right.
And I was like, what is going? Is he okay? What do we need to do? And then, boy, just lie after lie. I'll be honest, I thought Chuck Schumer was a better speaker than that, and I thought his entire speech fell flat. People just kind of tuned out while he was speaking.
I tell you, man, I think most of the speeches have fallen flat. Barack Obama is a great orator. There's no doubt about it. But even he had some moments in his speech, and we'll play for you in just a little bit. Some of those moments where you're like, man, he started out looking like he was about to hit a grand slam, about to hit the nail right on the head and take Trump down. And then it fell completely flat. And I don't take anything away from him being an orator because he's great at it. Mm-hmm. He just wasn't great last night. There's just, they preached hope last night, going back to the old Obama campaign slogan, hope and change, hope and change. Little did we know that change meant, when he said fundamentally changing America, he meant pulling the rug out from everything that the founding fathers believed in this country. He packaged that very, very well. But they talked about that hope last night. They talked about that joy last night. And they talked like they'd not been in power for the last, 12 out of 20 years. And more specifically, for the last 3.5 years.
Wasn't that the weirdest part? That considering that for the first 2 years of the Biden-Harris administration, they had the House, they had the Senate, and obviously they had the presidency. And they're acting for the last 3.5 years. They're like, hey, just put us in power. See what we're going to be able to do. You've held the highest office in the land for 3.5 years.
I'm unsure what you are waiting on. I mean, it's like a runner getting ready, waiting for the gun to go off to take off running.
Yeah.
The gun went off 3.5 years ago.
No, they're doing exactly what they want to do right now. That's the misconception. Everything they're doing, everything that we're seeing, the open borders, the lies about elections, the other thing that Barack Obama did yesterday was he really did bring it back, because one of the important things he kept saying, and so did Michelle, by the way, was, guys, we're not winning this thing yet. We're not winning this. And they know that. They know that there's this false inflation of excitement. They know this joy thing is false, which is why they said, guys, we got to call our neighbors. We got to get out there. We got to get ballots. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to win this election.
We got to break pipes.
Yeah,
pipes.
So as much as the media is pushing that there's this huge movement and everybody's moving over and the DNC is going to bring in fake Republicans to tell you that they voted for Trump and why they switched and why. And again, they are doing the joy hope thing because they have nothing else. They've done exactly what they want to do. The border's open for a reason. They don't care about the economy for a reason. They want you to depend on government, and they told you that yesterday.
I'm rubbing my hands together because I kept saying last week and leading up to this that the more they talk, the more things shift our way. The betting markets now have Donald Trump ahead by 4 points. All right. We talked about what was going on with the Rasmussen poll and everything else that was going on last week. Those are only enhancing. He's ahead in every single swing state. The only one where it's even looks like it's a little bit like right, we'll see, is Pennsylvania. But yet, depending on the poll, Trump is up in all of them as much as 3%. So the more they talk, the more they get out there, the more they try and pretend like, hey, if you just give us power, we'll change your life. Brother, you already did that.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they are banking on the fact that they see the internals and they know that the external polling is meant to influence, not inform. That's what it, like if I'm sitting back and I'm trying to figure out why they're panicked because they're saying the polling's so great, their internals tell them something very different.
Listen, they know that nobody likes Kamala Harris. That's why they pumped her up yesterday to try to get you to like her. That's why they lied and made it seem like all these people are in love with her. That's why they talked about this. Oh, I could tell you right now, when I was 2008, this is as big of a movement as that. She is this person. She is great. She is this. They are pumping her up because she is so unlikable. They know what the polls say. They know how. This is why they continue to preach, get out there, knock on doors, get out there, because they know, as much as they want to pretend like, hey, he doesn't have a big crowd and all this stuff, he does. They lined the streets in an unopened event yesterday while Donald Trump spoke to the police. When he drove down there had to be 10,000, 20,000 people standing in the streets in a small town.
Let me just tell you this, and this was the silliness of last night and the reason why I basically just checked out. Like, I tried to make it a point. I was going to listen to Michelle Obama, Big Mike, and I was going to go ahead and listen to Barack Obama. And I made it through a little bit of Barack Obama before I finally checked out. Because when you're worth $160 million, you can't play the victim any longer.
But they do a good job of it.
That is what Michelle Obama was doing.
Absolutely.
Playing the victim. I understand what it's like to be paycheck to paycheck, that entire mentality. And when you recognize when you're worth, and you've done it off of the backs of Americans, $160 million worth, I'm sorry, it doesn't resonate. And so anybody who was listening to that, I hope that they were able to see, especially independents, go, that dude lying to me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it should be easy. Yeah, I think, Ryan, I think you're possibly right. But I want to go in just a tick of a different direction and talk about why Kamala wasn't in Chicago. Because it's understood that Kamala went to Milwaukee, not because she wanted to pee on the Republicans' stage. It's because she's still got to work with Joe Biden. Joe Biden knows that Obama knifed him in the front and the back. She's got a delicate balance because she still has to work with Joe Biden for 5 more months.
Wait, hold on, time out.
Yeah.
He's at the beach. What do you mean she has to work with him?
She's got to be in the office setting.
Yes,
she's
got to be connected to him.
She's got to be connected to him, and he could absolutely say anything he wants at this point. The DNC's over. He could say pretty much anything he wants, and then just chalk it up to I misspoke. He could do anything he wants. They did not want her in the building with the Obamas, praising her, knowing that the Obamas knifed Joe Biden in broad daylight in front of everybody. So how do you walk that delicate wire? Hey, let's put her in the other city while the people that knifed Biden are in the city promoting you.
What was so wild about last night and what has been so wild about the past 2 nights is that you've essentially had a party tell you, if you just put us in power, we'll fix things. All right, you've been in power for the last 3.5 years, and what was it, 12 of the last 16? You did this.
Yeah.
You messed this up with your spending. Yeah. You created the scenario under which you have record credit card debt with the American people, the lowest home ownership in 60 years. You are the ones responsible for this.
Yeah, and I want that to be, that's why, we have to continue to talk about you were in charge for 12 out of the 16 years. Think about the 12 years of your child's life going through education. You want to know why your education is so bad? Who's been in control of it for 12 of the 16 years? Who were the ones that shut them out and shut them down and made sure? Who are the ones that continue to run the Department of Education? When you go back, look back even further, Democrats who push this Department of Education, if you're going to complain about the education system in this country, you're the ones who have pushed this and been in charge and have not done anything about it. Our worst education system, our worst education is happening in Democrat-run cities and counties and states. Our biggest deficit in this country is, number one, California, with their budget deficit and their wasteful spending. Number 2 is New York, with taxpayer monies and not getting anything done. It's what they want to distract you from. They want to say, hey, the government will fix this. You haven't done it.
Morning Xtra, Xtra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los. Rick is in Atlanta, wants to go back and talk about what Los was talking momentarily ago, or just moments ago. Those polls, the internal polling, and versus the betting markets. Rick, what's on your mind?
Hey, I just I thought it was a riot, though, and I know it's obviously no scientific poll by any stretch, but considering what a big platform X is, and now with Elon owning it, with free speech and people not being censored, I think it's obviously skewed a little bit in our favor, but seeing the last update on Elon's poll that he did, just straightforward, who do you want to vote for? And the last time I looked at it, the 24-hour poll had 11 hours left to go with 4.5 million people voting, and Trump was still over Kamala, I think, literally, 75-25. And I know that's, like I said, not anything official or whatnot, but I feel like that gives a good indicator of just showing that a lot of these polls that are being put out really are more to influence and not to inform, like you all said.
Yeah, no, that's right, Rick. Thank you so much for the call.
Rick, you are a super sharp dude, and I will tell you this. When you just look at the betting markets, you now have, and when I said it was 3 or 4, it's now 5 as of this morning.
Wow.
The more they talk, the more Donald Trump continues to now have the same sort of information and the same sort of margin that he had basically 3 weeks ago against Joe Biden.
Rasmussen's newest poll shows now Trump has taken a 10-point lead in some areas. Okay, after last night,
all the media blitz, and that's what it's at now.
This is where they're going. There was excitement. There was excitement for a new candidate. There's always going to be excitement for something new.
Everybody loves the backup quarterback.
Right. Everybody loves the backup quarterback till they get in there and then throw their first interception.
And then you realize that the backup quarterback for a reason.
That's exactly right, man.
The reality of this is when
Joe Tereshinsky of politics.
Stop.
Sorry, I went way out there.
We're picking on poor Joe T. His family, like his dad, his grandpa, everybody went to Georgia, man. Back off Joe T.
When they look at the approval ratings, when you look at other aspects of this, and when Rasmussen and others want to start really looking at true polls, you're going to start to see true numbers. And you know what? Let the Democrats continue on this wave that they think they're going to win and they think they're going to do it, because you know what? There was a very important part of what Michelle Obama said yesterday. Hey, no more excuses. No more excuses. Guys, don't say that we didn't call you that you needed to get out and vote. We're not voting for you. Huh? Maybe you are. But you need to get out and vote. They are nervous. They know these polls are fabricated. They know these polls are skewed a certain way.
Think about how, and credit all be to X and credit be to 2020 for everything you lived through. I think the American public, by and large, looks at things the media tells them now and goes, nah, I'll figure it out on my own. Mm-hmm. At least they should be. You had a media blitz for the better part of 3 weeks that told you that Kamala Harris was Winston Churchill and FDR rolled into one. And now she's down by 5 points in the betting markets.
But I mean, you knew that was going to be their message, though, right? I mean, it's not like
it was always going to be. But I mean,
it has to be.
But it was so aggressive.
It had to be.
I mean, it was so in your face where it was not objective at all. It was not, all right, let's analyze the fact that she's not interviewing with us. Let's analyze when she does bring up what her policies are. This is a woman who has yet to put one policy on her website. Not one.
Yeah.
Because, again, when she did speak policy, she spoke in communist tongue, and everybody was like, wait, what? Even the Washington Post was like, if they're calling you communist, you probably shouldn't come out with communist-like policies. And it's so obvious. And here's another thing. Since we talked about Chuck Schumer in the beginning of the segment and how he scooted onto the stage, do y'all remember when Chuck Schumer talked about the deep state and the intel community? They have ways to get at you. They have ways to get you back. I mean, I couldn't help but think about that when Barack Obama was on the stage last night at the DNC, and he says the other side knows it's easier to play on people's fear and cynicism. They'll tell you that the government's inherently corrupt. Dude, Chuck Schumer told me that the government's inherently corrupt. He's the one that told me if they don't like what you're doing, they'll come after you, and they have ways to get to you. At what point will Barack Obama just acknowledge, or any Democrat at this point, just acknowledge that the government is inherently corrupt?
Yeah.
Nobody trusts them. Even people that work for them don't trust them.
Well, they're so corrupt that the one person that was not part of the government, or you can even bring J.D. Vance into this. I know he was a senator, but still relatively new to this. They are attacking those two. They are attacking two people who built businesses, created jobs, helped spur the economy. They are outsiders, and they continue to call them outsiders. And then they talk about the experience of government officials who are now rich, who now talk about you don't have an opportunity. Let the government give you an opportunity. This is a lie, and I think a lot of people see this. I'm surprised that, there is one thing that you said earlier about Barack Obama. Listen, I still think he's a great speaker. I think it was a great,
no doubt.
Absolutely. It was a great speech for his base, but you're 100% right, because there are people who I know that you would never think would vote for Trump, but they just don't like Barack Obama because they felt lied to for 8 years by Barack Obama, that now everything falls flat for them. And I think that's a lot of people now, even on the side that he thinks are going to come out now and go, you know what, I am black, I did go to Trump, but I'm going to come back because Barack Obama told me to. I don't think it registers anymore.
So, by the way, as we hit the lowest point of home ownership in 60 years, keep in mind that under Barack Obama, it was the lowest in 50 years, okay? Like it,
a lot of similarities,
and it came right back down. It's amazing how that happened. I think that if you're outside of, like, let's say my uncle, and love the dude to death, read this stuff on Facebook, and he is like as crazy it is out there when it comes to Barack Obama and everything else. As I'm reading through his stuff, I'm thinking to myself, I have to imagine that if this was like 100% of the contingent of people that bought into everything, after 8 years of Obama, I would hope that 20% of those people went, yeah, that wasn't that good.
Yeah, no,
it's a great presentation.
Absolutely.
But it ain't good
It's
because you look at what happens financially to you.
It's like when you wake up on Christmas morning and that one gift that you've been waiting to tear into, the wrapping is so perfect, it's so shiny, and the ribbons are so nice.
Presentation's amazing.
Dig into it, and it's underwear.
And it's a fork.
And you're like, what?
Like, did
y'all
you
wrapped up a fork?
Did you really get me underwear?
Yeah, it's exactly right.
This?
The presentation looks real good. Nobody wants the gift inside, and that's exactly the way it was with Barack Obama, is with his policies in his third term. And if she's elected, Kamala's elected, his fourth term, we will continue down that same path. Funny, too, final thought, that you never hear anybody on stage at the DNC say anything about Trump's policies. They only attack him as orange man, bad person. They never attack his policies.
And by the way, they didn't bring it up last night, the person who was the happiest over SCOTUS and talking about presidential responsibilities was Barack Obama for as many drone strikes on Americans and other people that he put on while he was in office.
How about them attacking him from the minute he came down the escalator, calling him a racist? The minute that racist came down an escalator, both Barack Obama and Michelle on that one.
Unbelievable. 8 o'clock hour is brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier expert. 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. When we come back, evidence that the DNC isn't communist enough. They're the pro-Hamas, pro-terrorists that are visiting the beautiful city of Chicago. Next on Extra 106.3.
Atlanta radio legends, proud military vets, national network experts are all on Extra 106.3.
It's going to be an interesting couple of months.
With live and local shows in the morning and afternoon, and the biggest conservative hosts in the country throughout the day. We are always here with the latest news and opinions you need.
There's no chance if the media and the Department of Justice and social media are all against you.
No traffic interruptions, no former shock jocks, just Atlanta legends you've turned to for a generation. The conservative voice of Atlanta. Extra 106.3 FM and the Extra app.
Your great-grandmother's wedding ring, your grandfather's favorite watch, your mom's special bracelet. These are heirlooms that will be handed down from generation to generation. There are some things that just stay in the family. So when it's time to celebrate one of life's best moments, do it with a piece of jewelry and a company that has been helping Georgia folks for decades. If you're celebrating a birthday, anniversary, or the birth of a child, stop into Solomon Brothers today. We'll help you pick out that perfect gift for any occasion. And when you visit a Solomon Brothers location, you'll see real Solomons like me, providing unmatched customer service like my family has for over 40 years. So when it's time to shop the mom and pop, Solomon Brothers Jewelers. On Peachtree Road in Buckhead, on Old Milton Parkway in Alpharetta, and now on Fisher Crossing Drive in Sharpsburg. Shop us online at SolomonBrothers.com or on Instagram at Solomon Brothers.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine. I'm here today with the owners of Diaz and Galleta, and they have some breaking news for you.
That's right, Tara. We moved to a new location. I'm Giovanni Diaz, co-owner of Diaz and Galleta. My partner Zachary Galleta and I realized the need was growing more and more for legal representation, so we decided to grow too. Visit us at 2400 Herodian Way Southeast, Suite 275 in Smyrna, next to the Battery.
We are 13 years in practice with 6 attorneys on staff. We specialize in personal injury, immigration, criminal defense. We are a multilingual office and always offer free consultations. We are passionate about helping people. Consultations are scheduled with the law partners, and we maintain contact with our clients. We don't build walls between clients and attorneys.
Wow, guys. Sounds like a lot of exciting things are going on at Diaz and Galleta. Reach out with confidence, knowing these amazing attorneys will be working on your case and walking you through the entire process. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
This is Dan Watkins with All Four Seasons. We've always been Atlanta's best at installing and servicing garage and entry doors, but you would be surprised at how many windows we've installed as well. So we're proud to announce a new division, All Four Seasons Windows. We now have the ability to make sure every opening in your house is safe, energy efficient, and looks darn good. So give us a call today to schedule your free sales consultation. Find out how you can decrease your energy bills and increase the beauty and value of your home with All Four Seasons garage, entry doors, and windows.
Get ready for Real Talk on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle kitchen table topics that are banned from family gatherings, but crucial for a strong republic. Tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday for an encore episode at 9 a.m. And if you can catch us live, great. But if not, no worries. New podcasts drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park right here on Extra 106.3 or wherever you get your podcast. Join us for insightful conversations that matter.
I've been with EMC Security for over 10 years, and their service and support are always fantastic. There's nothing better than a business that understands that great service earns loyalty, unlike companies that rely on contracts. Plus, their prices are unbeatable, and they're always focused on solving any issues quickly.
It's time to experience long-term satisfaction and true customer care. EMC Security, exceeding customer expectations since 1998. Visit emcsecurity.com for a free quote.
Hi, this is Ben.
And I'm Walt from Horizon Background Screening.
I would say anyone who's working in any industry could use our services.
A couple of the clients that people tend to not even think about are churches, volunteer organizations. We do a lot of background checks for referee associations. Anybody who's going to be around kids or older adults or anybody vulnerable, you really need to do a background check that includes a criminal history, a sex offender registry search, and anything else that's really relevant to your organization, just to make sure that the people who you're putting in touch with, kids and other vulnerable people, are who you think they are, and that you're not putting your clientele at risk.
So we're going to help you reduce your risk. We're going to help you hire the right person on the front end so that you don't spend all this time with training and all those kind of things and then realize that wasn't a good hire.
The best way for people to find us is on our website. A quick Google search of Horizon Background Screening or look at us at horizonscreening.com.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
Here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, August 21st. A 32-year-old mother and her 4-year-old son were found safe after being abducted from their home in Roswell. According to Roswell police, Forsyth County Sheriff's deputies spotted a car being driven by Brian Batania, the suspected abductor and the mother's boyfriend. Batania Pennsylvania was taken into custody 7 hours after they released a Levi's call. His charges have not been disclosed. Carroll County Deputy Taylor Bristow, who had been shot in the face while serving a search warrant, is out of surgery and recovering in the intensive care unit at Grady Memorial Hospital. Deputy Bristow was working with the GBI to serve a warrant for alleged child sexual exploitation at the time. Officials say the suspected gunman is dead. The GBI also reported that no officers fired their weapons during the encounter. And in sports, Marcell Ozuna homered and Reynaldo Lopez pitched 5 strong innings in his return to the mound as the Atlanta Braves beat the first-place Phillies 3-1 last night at Truist Park. The Braves will go for their 4th win in a row tonight when they take on the Phillies in a 7:20 matchup. Max Fried will take the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
We call them communists there in the DNC and in that party, and with good reason. They talk about communist ideas, they talk about socialist ideas, but the militants that are outside the building are saying, well, they're not nearly communist enough.
It is right to rebel. DNC, go to hell. It is right to rebel. It is right to rebel.
It is right to rebel. DNC, go to hell. I mean, that's pretty strong.
I'm surprised the DNC isn't turning around and be like, those are really Trump supporters dressed up like women.
Maybe you're right.
It'll come.
Yeah, it probably will.
It's always a call on the chant, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that just lets you know about the mind that is very up for being in a cult.
Oh, it's so cultish.
Did y'all know there may have been one person that I saw a bunch of times last night as I was watching the DNC, and they would go outside to these protesters. So everybody's wearing the uniform, right? Black, head to toe, some
goggles.
sort of goggles.
And 95.
Yeah, 95 mask, some sort of keffiyeh.
I'm sorry, I get all caught up in that.
No, but it's true. I'm looking at them. All got them on.
It's part of the uniform.
It's the street attire.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like this past Saturday night over at Truist Park. Everybody had the country uniform on. Everybody with cowboy boots and jeans and either a polo or a western shirt or
they didn't wear a mask.
Country I didn't see one.
Oh,
I did not see one.
Not in that crowd.
They're fun-loving Americans, freedom-loving Americans for sure. But in this crowd of protesters, the ones that are chanting, it is right to rebel, DNC, go to hell. There was one big heavyset dude.
Yeah.
I guarantee he's wearing husky jeans. And he had this. No, seriously. My cousin, growing up, had to wear husky jeans.
Did you hear Cameron talk about this?
No.
He wore husky when he was growing up.
Did he?
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
he's so thin now. It's surprising.
I still wear kids' husky jeans because I'm 5'4" and fat. I go to Sears. I'm like, do you guys have any of the Winnie the Pooh huskies anymore? Those are cool.
My cousin Kenny, he was always about 2 years older, so I'd get his hand-me-downs, right? But he was husky, so none of them fit. And so finally, my Aunt Ellen just stopped asking my mama if I wanted those clothes because, yes, even if it was like a Braves shirt or a Georgia shirt, something that I would have wanted, it's going to be 3 times too big because he was husky.
It's like a towel.
Yes, exactly.
Go to any store. You can't go into Walmart, by the way, and find 34.26. Everything is 34.30. They're like, if you're shorter than this, too bad.
You got to get them hemmed.
And then you go and you go to the child section where you find the huskies. They work out real well. 34.26.
This man was definitely wearing husky jeans, but he's also wearing like this. I can't make out exactly what the design is, but it almost looks like a tie-dye T-shirt a little bit. And, I mean, he is a big fella. And he's wearing a Hamas or a Palestinian flag as a cape, and then he's carrying this flag. And he's just as joyful. I mean, he looks like he's found some friends. Finally. For the first time in his life, he's found some friends. He gets out there, chants with them, and they're welcoming to this very, very large man.
He got hornier and hornier.
Don't use that word. That's
yeah, sorry.
But you could tell that he did not believe in anything that was being done. Or if he does, he's a new convert to it.
Yes.
And finally, he has found his people. That's what he stood out like a sore thumb.
The ridiculous thing about this entire thing is they sit there and they chant about stopping a genocide by calling for a genocide of all the Jews.
That's exactly right.
It's the ridiculous kind of pretzel that they continue to get themselves in. I'm glad they're doing this, though. I mean, they have every right to go out there and do that.
They do.
I give credit to the police, even though their people are trying to say that the police need to be sued and taken apart because, well, they arrested 14 people for breaching security. But the reality of it is this, that they are not, the DNC isn't communist enough for them. They want them to flat out tell you, no, don't disguise what we want to do. We want to tear down capitalism. They're the ones screaming death to America. So as much as you heard last night they love America, they realize they're on the side that actually hates America, which is why they say, hey, no, be stronger about this. We want the death of America. We want the death of capitalism.
I can't imagine being on the side of that. That you despise the country that you live in, you despise the country that you were raised in, that you despise everything about the most free nation in the world, the one that was set up on the principle of people governing themselves, not having an overlord. And just on the inside of the building, they're disguising that, but they agree with the people that are marching. Now, they're not brave enough to say it out loud. They disguise it. They soften it. The people out in front of the United Center is like, no. Quit softening it. This is what we want. You do too. Why are you afraid of it?
The Obamas, and they were on display last night, they would always downplay American exceptionalism as if that was some sort of some
racist dog whistle.
Yeah, a special moniker that, well, Americans are no much more exceptional than Norway. Okay?
Yes, we are.
Now, here was the deal. American exceptionalism is based on the fact that we were one of the first countries in modern history to say, we're going to be governed by us for us. We are going to get away from a monarchy. We're going to try and get away from an oligarchy. We're going to basically say that, at the very simplest way, every 2 years we're going to elect our representatives, and they are going to be the ones who represent us. So when you see these people that are kind of rejecting this, just know that that is because that's the rule. The exception is us. Humanity craves the idea of being kind of enslaved in a way.
I think you're right. I think more people are comfortable being told what to do. Sure. At least 50% of the country is really comfortable with being told what to do because they're wearing masks now and the mandate's gone. But they loved the mandates. They loved the shot mandate. They loved the mask mandate. They loved that schools were shut down. Parks were closed down. They were completely comfortable with that.
Well, what's weird is that they feel as if they're part of a movement. They feel like they're part of...
Like the dude in the husky pants.
And what's so strange about it is that we can talk about MAGA as a movement, and basically it's a movement of leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay? That's totally different than give me all the rules by which I must live.
No, and that's where I want to be. Like, there's nothing, you could ask my wife, there's not many things that tick me off. I'm easygoing for the most part about everything. I'm like water on a duck's back, man. It just rolls off my butt, whatever. Mm-hmm. You do whatever you want. It's when, and she learned this early in our marriage, like, if I tell him what to do, it's going to piss him off, and he's going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah.
That is my mentality, but I think that is the mentality of at least 50% of the country. I think it used to be much more than that, 80% of the country, that so much so that we rebelled against the monarchy that you were discussing, the queen and the king and those people that are going to tell you what to do. The Americans were like, no, you're not.
No.
We're done with this. And still to this day, that runs in my veins. It ain't going anywhere.
No.
There's nothing Barack Obama can say. There's nothing Michelle Obama can say. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, anybody in the United Center that can tell me this is what you need to do and me go along with it. It's never going to happen.
Yeah, or, the funny part, too, though, is that even when they tell you, you actually know what they're saying. These people have no idea what they're being told to do or what they're being told is coming. You at least know, and that's part of the reason why you're never going to sit there and listen to what Barack Obama says. You've already learned the lesson from that. You've already seen the idea of pushing us towards socialism. You already understand. He even told you. He's been involved in this campaign and been involved with Joe Biden the entire time. He said it out loud yesterday. If you don't think that he is and been pulling the strings for everything that's going and leading us towards the part where they are going to try to figure out how we pay for college for every single person in here, whether or not you want to pay for someone or have kids in general, you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for someone else's house. You're going to pay for the fact that we're going to tax corporations. You're going to lose your job. For as much as they say about the CHIPS Act, look how many people are. Intel laid off 17% of their workforce. It's still coming. Qualcomm has laid off 20% of their workforce. These are the chip companies, the American investments that they made in the CHIPS Act, and they're all failing right now. Stop believing the hype. Stop believing the lies. And I'm glad that a lot of people won't listen to Barack Obama anymore.
Well, and there's a part of me that, as I was sitting through the Obamas yesterday, like I said, I made it through all the way through Michelle, made it through halfway through Barack, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just can't handle it.
We checked
anymore.
out about the same time.
I checked out about that time. At the same time, I was also on Twitter enjoying myself a little trolling. And I kept asking one of these young Democrats, so tell me where your rights come from. And what I realized as round and round, he wouldn't argue, or he wouldn't explain where your rights come from, because your rights come from God. Mm-hmm. The thing that weirded me out about it was that he probably knows, but to say that then ends up being like a mark against him within the party. And as I'm watching last night, it all kind of comes around where abortions and vasectomies on demand. Here's where it's what we're going to go ahead and do. There was a lack of a sense of being humble. And that, I think, is what really kind of hit me over last night of these people really do believe that they are the end-all, be-all.
Yeah, they're better than you. They're better than me. They're better than everyone. There's no doubt. They feel that, and they ooze it.
And to say the obvious, I said, well, where do your rights come from the founding of this country? I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. The founding of this country believes that your rights when it comes to the founding fathers comes from God, that you have free will. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they couldn't, or at least this person and the rest of them would not go down that road.
Yeah, wouldn't. They probably know that that's the found. They know where all that at least comes from in the minds of the founders. But that's the thing. They wouldn't.
And as I'm listening to everything last night, all I kept thinking to myself is these are the people that look at themselves as the end-all, be-all, and the ones who should be in charge.
But that's part of the pretzel because they've been told so many different messages, right? They don't want religion to be a part of anything, so they can't say, well, it's a God-given right. No, of course not. But they also will sit and play the game that, well, government shouldn't be telling me what to do with my body. Well, then who gives you your rights? Well, the government did in the Constitution. Hold on. Which is it? Well, I mean, I have a constitutional right to an abortion, but you don't. So which one is it? Because God, if you want to play the game of God gave me this body I can do with what I want, okay, play that game. But at the same time, that's the pretzel logic of these people. They don't have answers. They just kind of walk in circles because they don't research the things they're told to say.
When we come back at Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los until 10, then Beck at 10 a.m. till noon until 3. Biggest show in all of conservative media. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton carrying the torch that was lit by the late, great Rush Limbaugh. And then the afternoon show with our own Yosemite Sam, the Kimmer. 8 o'clock hour brought to you by Central Heating and Air Conditioning, your Atlanta carrier experts, 770-GET-HEAT, centralheat.com. Tim Walls has children with his wife, but how they got them is a mystery. Next on the Morning Extra.
Extra 106.3 is the only station in Atlanta to bring you unedited news, information, and updates. With an all-star lineup of local and network voices, Extra is committed to being the station you need during the biggest election of our lifetime.
This presidential election is unlike any other.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is Extra 106.3 FM. And listen across Georgia on the Extra app.
School may be back in, but the Braves have tons of giveaways and huge matchups this month, like when the Philadelphia Phillies and Washington Nationals come to Truist Park, August 20th through the 25th. The Phillies series begins with a Chick-fil-A cow bobblehead giveaway on the 20th, followed by the Ozzie Albies and his dog Poochie bobblehead giveaway on the 21st, presented by Bear Ringer Ingelheim.
Olsen uncorks one to deep right center field, flying to the wall and kiss it goodbye. Home run by Matt Olsen into the Braves bullpen.
And then get ready for Alumni Weekend, presented by your local Ford dealer, August 23rd through the 25th. The weekend includes the Braves Legends Parade through the Battery and the Alumni Roll Call on the field on Friday, followed by autograph sessions with your favorite former Braves and the always competitive Home Run Derby competition on Saturday. Don't miss the fun this August. Find all the details and get your tickets at Braves.com/promos. Atlanta Braves Baseball. We are Braves Country.
Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watch Company, where quality and value make the difference. Locally owned and located in Sandy Springs, offering you the finest selection of unique diamonds, sapphires, rubies, and emerald jewelry, as well as other fine gemstones. Lee Brandt Jewelry and Watches has been servicing Rolex watches for over 30 years, and their Rolex-trained watchmaker will service your watch in their state-of-the-art Rolex service center in their store. Lee Brandt uses only genuine Rolex parts, and their estimates are free. Drop by Lee Brandt in the Trader Joe's Shopping Center in Sandy Springs or visit LeeBrandt.com.
Hey, it's Tug from my friends, the Frost family of First Liberty Building and Loan. You hear about their family's company all the time here on Extra 106.3. First Liberty has helped hundreds of small businesses grow by saying yes when the big banks say no. On Wall Street, opportunities to earn big returns are everywhere. But for Main Street investors, those opportunities are hard to find. Until now. Our First Liberty notes are now open to qualified Main Street investors, paying interest rates of 8 to 13% while helping fuel the growth of small businesses right here in Georgia. With a few basic qualifications and with as little as $25,000, qualified Main Street investors just like you can earn an 8 to 13% interest rate. If this is you, they'd love to hear from you. Go to FirstLibertyGA.com and consider joining the First Liberty family today. That's FirstLibertyGA.com. FirstLibertyGA.com.
First Liberty notes are not obligations of or guaranteed by any financial institution and are not secured by any collateral. They are not FDIC insured or guaranteed by any government agency. You could lose money. Purchasers must verify their SEC accredited investor status. Securities are not being offered in any jurisdiction in which it is unlawful.
Have you thought about securing your hard-earned assets? Do you have concerns about the future? Protecting assets is crucial, and that's where Nelson Elder Care Law excels. As a family-owned and family-focused firm, we provide absolute assurance and peace of mind through our trademarked Absolute Protection Trust, tailored services in estate planning, probate administration, Medicaid crisis solutions, guardianship, and conservatorship. Our goal is to exceed your expectations and empower informed decisions. Visit NelsonElderCareLaw.com for asset protection and peace of mind.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, the Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
When you buy a Subaru from Subaru of Gwinnett, you're buying more than a vehicle. You're buying safety for your family and something that will last a long, long time. In other words, you're buying trust. For a limited time, you can celebrate amazing offers on the all-new Forester, Crosstrek, or Outback during the Subaru A Lot to Love event now through September 3rd. Plus, you can enjoy special financing on select new 2024 Outback models. And you'll love more than just your new Subaru. You'll love the dedicated staff at Subaru of Gwinnett with some of the best service specialists in the area and a team you know you can trust. You'll ride with peace of mind knowing that Subaru of Gwinnett has your back. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event, you'll find that Subaru model you've always dreamed about at a price that makes that dream come true. But you'll need to get in by September 3rd to take advantage. We'll make it easy. Just start with a test drive. And before you know it, you'll be in the Subaru you love. Start your shopping online at SubaruofGwinnett.com. Then stop by on Satellite Boulevard in Duluth. SubaruofGwinnett.com.
Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station is always streaming live across Georgia on the Extra 106.3 app. Get the live stream and your favorite Extra podcast anywhere you go. Grab the Extra 106.3 app now for Apple or Android.
My son is the greatest gift that my wife has ever given me. And let me tell you, we've been married 23 years. She is my best friend. She has given me so much joy, her attention. She's so smart. She's so funny. She means everything to me. Yeah. I wish I can't say that I'm winking about any of that.
You too.
All of that is super true.
Look at him put the finger gun to his head.
Look at this. Wide open, eyes wide open.
She's not going to go back and look.
Yeah, right.
Or she will.
Yeah, maybe she will. I hope she does because I want her to know how I feel about her. I try to behave in a way that shows her that every day of the week, every week of the year. So I am indebted to her because I have a 20-year-old son that I wish was still 8 or 10. I miss those days, something fierce. So having babies with the person you love is an unbelievable thing to have. It's such a gift from God. It's such a blessing. But then to go and cause question about how you and your wife had children seems to be the most absurd thing that you could possibly do. And Tim Walz did just that, Rhino. He did just that.
This is just such a sad state that the only way they can bring people into their party is to lie to them, to make them feel like they're a part, to tell them, I was the head coach of a... Well, you weren't. I was the command... No, well, you weren't. I held a weapon of war... no, you didn't. I was in the Afghanistan, Iraq... No, get it straight. And now I'm standing for women's rights because without IVF, me and my wife wouldn't have a baby. Listen to this guy.
Today's IVF day. Thank God for IVF. My wife and I have 2 beautiful children. He thinks he needs to dictate that. And I've been saying this, the golden rule that makes small towns work so we're not at each other's throats all the time in a little town is mind your own damn business. I don't need him to tell me about my family. I don't need to tell him about my wife's health care and her reproductive rights. I don't need him telling my children what books they can read. He's fired to do that with whatever he wants, but I'm not interested in it. And I think rural America is, they are angry.
Mind your own damn business is something that stood out to me because
me too.
When you're standing on your porch and you have cops at Tim Walz's direction screaming, get back in your house, that's not minding your own damn business.
Along with Michigan and California, maybe the most intrusive governor when we are talking about the COVID era of telling you what you could do, what you couldn't do, who was important, who was not. And to allude, again, I think IVF is an amazing piece of technology that allows parents that are struggling to be able to at least have the shot at children. And we've seen it happen with friends of ours where they went. I mean, we're talking like years until it finally took and they were able to conceive. It's a small miracle in that regard. And for him to allude to it, that is how him and his wife, who his wife has now come forward and be like, yeah, we weren't IVF parents. For him to allude to that in the order to score political points, man, this dude, I don't know if he's got any sort of barometer where he won't go to in terms of like, that's too gross for me to say.
I've not seen it yet. You have I think it's out this morning, a list of veterans that have come out against his stolen valor in favor of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You have him lying about his service. Anybody that's been in the military would never, ever do. It's so rare because everybody calls it out. If you've been in the service, if you've served, you would call it out too because you're like, wait a minute, I don't want you to say you've done something that you haven't. I don't want you to take some glory in saying that you defended this country in some way. And then the next one, I mean, there's so many lies, but then this one is so simple. Like, what could possibly be the benefit if you're found out to have been lying? What could possibly be the benefit to make you want to go down that road, to use that as a political talking point versus some sort of thing that causes life on this earth? I'm blown. Like, this one surprises me even as much as the stolen valor.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, but they've gotten away with lying to their voter base for so long. They know no one's going to fact check them. And in all honesty, they don't care. Has he come out and responded and been like, look, I misspoke. I meant to relate to the point that, we needed help having children. I think Tim Walton needed a lot more help, and there was a reason they had to go through IVF. I don't think he's ever slept with that woman, but that's my own opinion, and that's what I think. The reality of it is this. That's all they can do. They lie about 15 million jobs that they created when everybody knows that they've adjusted it down, and they're going to adjust it down 600,000 to 1 million today. Their base, the idiots, the useful idiots, are going to tell you he created 16 million jobs. They are going to lie to you about that. They're going to lie to you about the fact that this isn't a communist idea by what they're doing and what they're going to do. The fact that they continue to say it's corporate greed, and yet they all are attached to some corporation funded by some corporation. They just happen to be the funny ones. They didn't beat Big Pharma. They actually made Big Pharma what it is today. They didn't beat Big Oil or anybody they say. Now, they may have beaten Medicare. They may have beaten Social Security, but that's only because they're giving it to people who don't deserve it. They've messed everything up, and they continue to lie, but they know their base is so gullible and useful that they're allowed to.
Well, I'm really curious when they go down the whole road of we beat Big Pharma. Like, all right, on what premise?
Where? In what part?
Because you actually were, and again, we're talking about September of 2021. We are looking at a president who got up in front of the nation and said, if you don't take this shot, you're going to have a winter of death. All right? Like, they were pushing this entire thing as they're filling the coffers of Big Pharma. And what? Because they ended up instituting what Donald Trump had already done as far as reducing the price of insulin. That's how they beat Big Pharma. Brother, you're the one who ran up Big Pharma and their stock price for the better part of 3 years.
Yeah. Wages are up. Actually, wages are down 4% under the Biden-Harris administration. Their idea to actually raise the corporate rate would actually make it worse, and would actually, studies that they've done show 70% of the burden of a corporate rate increase falls on workers' wages. What they're doing is not helping the American people. What they're doing is controlling the American people. So as much as you sit there, you don't want to be afraid of them taking $25,000, building 3 million homes, and then think that they are not going to control your life over those homes. That's fine. Go ahead. Go down your little communist socialist ideology. And you know what? If she happens to win, I want to hear you stop complaining about the price. I want to hear you stop complaining about the economy.
Celebrate
schooling. Celebrate the fact that you destroyed this country.
Absolutely.
Good for you. I'm glad you're voting for something that with these people, Tim Walz included, has done nothing but showed you he's a phony and a liar.
Celebrate paying more. I don't know why they're not doing that at the DNC now that I've sit back and thought about it for a second. Why are they not celebrating paying more? That's what their policies do. So you should be proud that your policies are working. They're working exactly like you want them to. Why are you running from them? Why are you hiding from them? I can't imagine.
Don't even fake the numbers. Use the real numbers.
Absolutely.
Then. Be like, hey, listen.
We're doing what we want to do.
We didn't create this many jobs. In fact, you know what? I know we said we made this great infrastructure, but we've only built 7 stations out of the 500,000 we promised. We haven't really done any infrastructure except for putting bathrooms in Philadelphia's airport.
Yeah,
we
did.
created. Yeah, exactly. That's all we've done. You haven't created
7
jobs.
charging station.
You're going to make $100,000 working in. You don't have to have a college degree to go work for our CHIPS Act. You're going to make a minimum $100,000. Are you doing it now? No. 3.5 years later? No. In fact, all these companies, Qualcomm, laying people off, 20% of their workforce. Intel, the chips maker, American chip maker. You know who's benefiting from the chips, by the way? Taiwan. Do you know who controls $665 billion, I think it is? It's Taiwan, not the U.S. It's a joke. You people fall for these things.
Rhino's not kidding you. As I pull up the website to show you the celebration of the restroom renovation
Phase
project
5 just begun. Let's
in
go.
the Philadelphia airport. This is where your tax dollars went to Crappers in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And 7 charging stations. Don't forget those.
No,
And 7 charging
and
stations.
I'm sorry, they did plant a bunch of trees because climate is so bad they need shade.
The bipartisan infrastructure bill, $15 million to toilets in Philadelphia in the airport.
To listen to Barack and Michelle Obama tell it, the Dems have been out of power for the last 4 years. That discussion next about the DNC after a Neil Bortz report and a Fox News update.
It's time for the Bortz Report, exclusively on Atlanta's only conservative news and talk station, Xtra 106.3.
So once again, there's the Democrat god, Barack Obama, speaking at the convention last night. And once again, here I am, the pudding stick, asking you to tell me one single person, just one, involved in raising and nurturing Barack Obama who loved America. Just one. You can't. Stanley Ann Dunham, his mother, so hated this country that she left her husband, Lolo Sotero, in the Philippines and moved to Hawaii. Why? Because Lolo was expressing admiration for American businessmen. But that she could not put. In Hawaii, she befriended Frank Marshall Davis, member of the Communist Party, who became Obama's mentor as he was growing up in that state. A state in which, by the way, and I live there, a huge number of the native residents also hated America. Once Obama got to the United States and Occidental College, his best friends and associates were radical communists. I actually flew to California one time to interview one of them. He told me that Obama constantly talked of a violent overthrow of the American government. He talked Obama into doing it the right way through politics. Then you have Jeremiah Wright. Do I have to remind you about him? When Obama decided to announce his candidacy for Senate in Illinois, he did so at the home of Bill Ayers, a terrorist, a communist. Look him up sometime. Google Bill Ayers, Ayers. And then after he's elected, he tells us he's going to fundamentally transform the United States of America. Into what? And his transition leader told us we will be ready to rule from day one. Rule Barack Obama, our hero of the Democrat Party. No, I did not watch his speech last night. I wanted to be able to sleep. Neil Bortz, Xtra 106.3.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations on the Janelle King Show, where we tackle the topics that you won't hear at your family gatherings, but they're absolutely crucial for a strong republic. Don't miss us live every Saturday at 3 p.m. and every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Xtra 106.3. But if you can't tune in, that's okay. You can catch new episodes every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you prefer to get your podcasts. Join us for these discussions, and I can't wait to meet you there.
Have you heard about Sonder and their Georgia-based Medicare Advantage health plans? Sonder Health Plans is committed to revolutionizing healthcare, making it straightforward, personal, and affordable. Call them and ask if you qualify for their fantastic $400 grocery card offer and $0 premiums. They've even got their own radio show and podcast called Weekend Wellness, dedicated to keeping all Georgians healthy and happy at every age. Call 800-331-2928 or visit SonderHealthPlans.com. Sonder Health Plans is an HMO with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Sonder Health Plans depends on contract renewal.
What's up, Atlanta? It's Ben Burnett, host of the Weekend Ben Burnett Show. Each and every weekend, right here on Xtra 106.3, we unpack all the week's events. We talk about all the issues with a local Atlanta-based flavor. You can catch me each and every weekend, Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at noon. If you ever miss an episode, you can go to the Podcast Park or wherever you download all of your content, and I'll be right there. Thanks for listening to the Ben Burnett Show, proudly brought to you by Butler Snow.
WFOM and W292EV Marietta, a Dickey broadcasting station. The 9 a.m. hour is presented by Southern Exteriors. Quality and precision you can rely on.
Countering the message coming out of the Democratic Convention. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It's clearly about their hatred of Donald Trump more than their love for America.
The former president's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance. They'll be together in North Carolina today as the Republican ticket continues to go to battleground states during the convention. And Vance also tells Fox,
political consultants assume that Americans are dumb. I assume that Americans are smart, and that if you level with them about the ways in which Kamala Harris failed and Donald Trump succeeded, that's the best way to earn their trust and to get Donald Trump back in the White House.
Tonight, Vice President Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, will accept the nomination with a convention speech. They rallied together last night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This is a people-powered campaign, and together we will chart a new way forward.
She did address the convention remotely after a ceremonial nomination roll call. In Chicago, the Obamas were in the spotlight.
America, hope is making a comeback.
Kamala Harris won't be focused on her problems. She'll be focused on yours.
Former First Lady Michelle and former President Barack Obama, who told the convention, we can't afford 4 more Trump years of bluster.
It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala.
The pro-Palestinian demonstrations continue near the Democratic convention site.
More than 70 arrests overnight out in front of the Israeli consulate. These were protesters who were clearly looking for a fight. Most of them were dressed in black. They had masks over their heads. They burned the U.S. flag. They spray painted directly on police cars symbols of anarchy.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Chicago. Another commercial ship has been attacked in the Red Sea, hit with projectiles, damaged, believed to be targeted by Iran-backed Houthi militants from Yemen who've been disrupting shipping in the region for months. America's listening to Fox News.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like climbing a mountain, but that mountain is also covered in banana peels. Then when something new gets added to your list, you're like, nope, I'm already climbing this huge, super slippery banana peel mountain of a to-do list. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to manage your policy on our mobile app. So climbing that banana peel mountain feels more like a leisurely stroll. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
I opened a gold IRA with Noble Gold Investments. There's no better vote for your financial safety than precious metals. So Noble Gold Investments is giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account this month. Just use promo code TRUMP. That's NobleGoldInvestments.com.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Align your business with other like-minded conservatives by advertising on Xtra 1063. Email sales at xtra1063.com.
Tug, Rhino, and Los on the Morning Extra. Bonus hour, 9 o'clock. Glad that you're here reflecting on last night's DNC. Barack Obama made a statement last night.
Care.
Yeah, that's what it should stand for sure. Barack Obama made a statement last night that I think he didn't mean to say it, at least the way I interpreted it. He meant to say that government is good. Government's there to help you. Government's there to do good work. What he said was the other side, people like you and I and Rhino and Los, we look at the government with skeptical eyes. The other side, he says, thinks government is corrupt.
Now, it won't be easy. The other side knows it's easier to play on people's fears and cynicism, always has been. They will tell you that government is inherently corrupt, that sacrifice and generosity are for suckers. And since the game is rigged, it's okay to take what you want and just look after your own. That's the easy path. We have a different task. Our job is to convince people that democracy can actually deliver.
Yes, please convince me of that, because I've seen nowhere where government stepped in and things got better. I've seen it get worse. I've seen it be squandered. I've seen tax dollars be wasted, and I've seen power on display. Power and money corrupts. D.C., government around the world full of power and money. Give me an example so I can believe what Barack Obama's told me.
I figured out exactly what democracy means now in their mind. It's another term for communism. It's a lighter term for communism and socialism. he uses it in the example, and he continued to do it throughout last night, about democracy is that we can pay for your neighbors. Democracy is we can build 3 million homes and pay for them with other people's money. Democracy is price controlling and deciding what you can eat and what you can't, and what your family can have and what they can't have. Democracy is us elites living in a 7-bedroom house and then coming over here telling you that you should be skeptical of people who have too much. Well, what about people who have too much because of their government service?
Yeah, because the Obamas would certainly fall into that category. I mean, what are they worth, Los? You said it earlier. What was the number?
$120 million is the estimate.
What have they done to? And look, I'm not disparaging people making money. I'm a capitalist, man. Make money however you can, whatever. But give me how they've made money, and then we can talk about whether they deserve that money. Because in their own example, they don't deserve the multiple houses they have. The one that's got, 8 bedrooms, 7 baths, and a butler or used to have a butler anyway.
Yeah, the issue that...
He was a chef.
Man.
You know what? Do not miss.
I am not going to let that one go by without going, whoa. All right, Tug Coward.
Tug, we are bringing you to our side of darkness and hate and fear and name calling.
Well,
Tug's like, so the chef, he drowned.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I said, meant shelf.
But when you listen to their speeches last night, and again, I didn't make it all the way through Barack Obama's. I checked out about halfway through. I listened to all of Michelle Obama's. So much of it was vilifying those people that had created wealth and prosperity for themselves, as if they didn't do it from doing book deals, movie deals. Remember,
back pocket deals.
This is a couple that
Insider
basically made it a point.
Ukraine.
Possible.
We will handle programming a certain amount of movies, certain amount of shows on Netflix as long as you pay me. And when you look at what Netflix decided to pay the Obamas, they thought this is going to be their next cash cow, and it hasn't worked out.
Eerily similar to what Jesse Jackson did with Toyota. When he was shaking down Toyota like 20 years ago, and it was all of a sudden his kids ended up with Toyota dealerships. You're like, well, wait a minute, how in the world that happened? But last night there was nothing inspirational. There's nothing that made me go, yeah, man, that's really great. This is something I can get behind. There was never anything that I could get behind. There was nothing that was like, here is the policies that are going to show you the way, that are going to put you and your family in a situation of success. We're going to create an environment where all Americans are able to succeed. I never heard that one time. I heard Donald Trump's name a lot. I didn't hear them bash his policies because they were successful. They can't bash his policies, so all they can do is call him names. Now, he's the only one, though, Rhino, that is ever looked down on for name calling. And Barack last night in his speech called it nicknames. He gives people nicknames. But that's the thing. Like, so do they. They given him the nickname of Hitler. No one ever questions
Donald Dump.
Yeah, dude, all the damn time.
I mean, I could keep going. And here's the funny part about this, okay? The reality of it is, the only things I've seen, and I'll give Barack Obama credit again, he's a great speaker. He really knows how to bring his sheep back into the pasture and keep them on the plantation and in that pasture and keep them, in line, because the government's going to take control of them. But see, none of them heard those messages. Everything I'm seeing today is, after that comment that you just said, that, all he does is call names, childish games, childish things. The only thing I'm seeing retweeted from the left is Barack Obama destroyed him with this one. Barack Obama called him names with this one. Look at this, how great this is. They're cheering on the fact that all they did was talk about Donald Trump and make fun of Donald Trump last night. But you're right, not one of them has come out and gone, you know what, I really like what Barack Obama said about this policy, that policy of Kamala's, that policy Kamala's. Not one person has defended a policy issue they talked about last night.
If you're able to take somebody who ended up causing a conflict that killed about 50 million people worldwide, because that's what Adolf Hitler did. All right, the name Hitler, let's face it, the Democrats have used it so much it's losing its energy. Okay?
Yeah.
It's just not.
It's like a puppet now to me. It's a joke.
It's like saying racist.
And I'm Jewish, and it doesn't offend me.
It's kind of a placeholder. It's like, that guy with the funny mustache. It's Hitler. I think we should try and let's rebrand this thing. Let's call Kamala Harris, Pol Pot Harris. Just so people have to look into it a little bit, because doesn't Pol Pot sound like it kind of has like a kitchen kind of feel to it, this is where you're supposed to be,
Pol Pot.
but at the same time you killed 50 million people. Pol Pot Harris feels like it resonates a lot better. I'm just saying, let's reinvent the game here a little bit, people.
But that's the thing, though. No one's held to account for calling names except Donald Trump, because this is something that came up in a discussion with my wife and a couple of our friends, and they all said the same thing. It just drives me crazy when he calls people names. And I was like,
which friend of yours?
Actually, two, a husband and wife.
What's her name?
I love them. Doesn't matter. But the
Pol Pot. Pol Pot. Put her back where she needs to be.
That's right. The point is,
you're laughing.
Yeah. You're also turning red
exactly. As you're thinking to yourself, man, when she hears it, she needs to be back in the Pol Pot. She's gonna be not happy.
She's gonna be mad at.
But you don't even have to call her Pol Pot. All you have to do is say Kamala.
Yeah, or
just mispronounce it a little bit.
But my point in the whole thing,
I'd be like, why are you mad at names? Name calling. Get over it, silly.
But that's the thing. Yes, get over it. But more than that, why is it only Trump's held to account for name calling when everybody else calls names, everybody else mudslings, everybody else does the exact same thing? Yet it's only illuminated when he does it. That's the only time the media talks about it.
I have a very simple question, and I'm going to ask this, and then I want Rhino to explain it to me like I'm 4 years old, okay? I want Rhino to explain this to me like I'm 4 years old. How many times do I have to be kicked in the groin economically for suburban mama to feel okay about name calling?
Yeah, you know what?
All right.
You're not.
How many times do you have to sit back and leave Publix or Kroger or anywhere else and go, wow, that was 3 times more than it was 4 years ago, and you have a problem with name calling?
That's the biggest. It's a weird distraction for them that they get wiped into this whole thing. And that was the thing last night. That was the people that I saw the most. Crazy white women. There were, I forget the governor of New Mexico, and I'm sorry, I forget her name. That was one of the most ridiculous speeches I've ever seen. Full of lies, full of everything, and yet they sit there and they
Michelle Gresham.
Yes, thank you. Gosh. And it was like everything is so staged and fake. Like even her own thing. I said it yesterday. It was like going and sitting and watching as somebody that I knew that might be in a mental institution was putting on a play with all their friends, and I was there to support that. And she was the nurse that like always wanted to be an actress but never got it, and was like, well, guys, watch how I put on this show. Because that's what it looked like to me yesterday. And these women don't care. They'll call names. That's what she did the entire time. And then 5 seconds later go. And I hate that he calls names.
Yeah, as she does it.
As you do it. But that's the hypocrisy of this. Yeah,
that's why the conversation was irritating, because I was like, why are y'all okay with everybody else calling names but not Donald Trump? Why is he? Look, it's fine if you don't want anybody doing it, but you have to call it out on both sides if you're going to call it out in any situation, because otherwise it's meaningless. You're holding other people to a higher account than you're holding Donald Trump or anybody else for that matter. Just that stuff drives me crazy. One thing we've not talked about this morning that I feel like we need to get to, and all the craziness that's happening at the DNC, all the lack of policy, the lack of structure, the lack of entertainment value, that whole roll call thing seems so disjointed all night long, is the fact that RFK Jr. is considering suspending his campaign. I mean, it's definitely crossed their mind, or it would not have came out the way it did in the podcast with his VP pick. The thing that made me so interested in this is the fact that he believes he can bring his voters, his side, to Donald Trump. He says in his polling, his internal polling shows that he takes more people away, more voters away from Donald Trump than he even does Joe Biden. And he is dead set against Kamala Harris being president. This is a fascinating development, and I got to tell you, I don't agree with RFK Jr. on very many things. Probably less than 50%. The whole environmentalist thing is weird. Conservationist for me, not an environmentalist, because that is a political movement. But y'all, this could carry real weight. I mean, all you have to do is shift the electorate just by 1% to win. I mean, the voting is going to be razor thin.
You remember when you had that situation when you were growing up and you ended up calling back the guy from high school that you made fun of, and
like on Billy Madison,
and he decided not to kill you?
Yes.
As he put his lipstick on?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. How far do you think it went with RFK Jr. for Donald Trump to be the one that was like, that man deserves Secret Service? And considering that the Biden-Harris administration wouldn't grant him that kind of protection, given that his uncle and his dad both died by the hands of assassins, and you would not grant him that sort of... It took Donald Trump to get it done.
It did.
And so here he is basically saying, listen, we're different politically, but I like you better as a person.
Right.
Now he's going to put the lipstick on and sit back in his couch, whatever. But that's all it took.
That's an awful
was
visual.
one dude treating a dude like a normal dude.
But Trump's done that many times. I don't mean to cut you off, right? Just one example of that is when in 2016, when he's walking to the stage on one of the debates, and they didn't call Ben Carson's name, even though that he was next in line.
And dude
Trump,
waited with him.
It is just a human respect, and that's the only thing I wanted to say. So sorry.
He does definitely have that kind of respect, but that's the lie. You got to break that down. They don't want him to seem that way. They don't want you to hear the stories about him paying off a man's mortgage, and I don't care what color the man was. In general, he paid off a man's mortgage for helping him change his tire. The things that he's done. Jesse Jackson, go back and listen to what Jesse Jackson says about this great man in New York. When Kathy Hochul gets up and lies on stage, let me tell you, Trump is loved in New York because he built that city. He helped clean up that city. There's a reason that crime went down at 42nd Street. He and Rudy Giuliani did whatever they could to clean that area up, get rid of prostitution, drugs, and weapons. That's who this man is. They have to break that down. They don't want to put that out there. But let me tell you this. There is one thing that I think they need to start doing and running on, and we didn't cover it a lot, and we're going to talk about RFK here in a little bit. But I think the fact that you have unity where RFK and one of the most progressive people in the world, Nicole Shanahan, both say, hey, if we do jump, we're jumping to that side. Tulsi Gabbard is helping prepare Donald Trump for a debate with Kamala Harris. Oh, God, she knows.
Nikki Haley too, dude.
Nikki Haley. This is the man of unity. So as much as they say this is a divided, one separated nationalist, white nationalist, racist, they have to call these names. That's all they've done is call names. There's not one person who's talking about anything yesterday except for Little John came out. That's all we're hearing about. Nobody's talking about topics that the Democrats went over or how they're going to make the country better. Their useful idiot is just going on the lies that they've been told and talking about how great Little John and all the rest of the dancers were last night.
If RFK Jr. does end up bowing out of this thing on Friday and endorsing Donald Trump, and understanding that a former Democratic House member in Tulsi Gabbard, she got her fill of the Democrat Party. She got to look at what occurred there when Hillary Clinton claimed that she was a Russian asset just because she was being a little bit. I would say this. She made some points on a debate stage in 2020, and people were like, "Oh, you're not allowed to do that. You're just chick from Hawaii." If that ends up being, kind of this deal of like, look at these people, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, obviously Nikki Haley is what she is. Does it not downplay people like Jeff Duncan?
Right. Of course.
Where you're like,
thank you.
When you look at this little person who went, oh, there it is.
I wrote it. Tulsi and Jeff Duncan.
Look at this little person over here, and then look at these headliners
woman
over
that served
here.
her country. I don't agree with her on a lot, but she served her country. At least I can have her.
But when you're talking about like who is that person that decided I've seen the error of my ways?
Yeah.
Jeff Duncan comes across as very little.
Right. And so then
nobody know who he is either way.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Nobody knows who he is.
Even his own aide said this guy cares about money and TV time more than anything else anyway. And we know that. Because when you do hear from Tulsi Gabbard, she doesn't go out there and go, Barack Obama bad, this guy bad, this guy bad. She goes, this policy is not good. I don't like this. I don't like that. I'm still strong on taking away guns and making sure that only military members like myself have them. But the other thing about Tulsi Gabbard is she's going on policy. That's why she's moving to the Trump side. She's not moving like Jeff Duncan's moving because, well, my feelings got hurt. I don't care what my constituents say. I care about getting TV time on CNN. All I can do is bash somebody and throw lies out. That's the difference between Jeff Duncan and Tulsi, Jeff Duncan and RFK Jr. They're moving because of policy. not because of hatred or because of fear.
I can at least respect Tulsi because I feel like she's put her money where her mouth is. She's served her country. And though I disagree with her, I can still respect her and disagree with her. Jeff Duncan, I got nothing for that guy. I mean, nothing. There is nothing he's done, said, or been a part of that made me go, yep, I can fall in line behind that. Not one thing. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. When we continue, Georgia will not have paper ballots statewide. It's not a failed issue, as the AJC would have you believe. 9 o'clock hour brought to you by Southern Exteriors, your home exterior solution since 1999. 8779 Southern, southernexteriors.co.
Stream Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, Glenn Beck, Fox News, and even NASCAR on Sundays. Anywhere on the Extra 106.3 app. Download the app now and get 24/7 access to the live stream, the latest news, and everything you need to know about Atlanta's only conservative talk station. Download the Extra 106.3 app for Apple or Android and check out even more great original content at thepodcastpark.com.
Hi, I'm Jaron Solomon from Solomon Brothers. If you're wondering if you can afford to shop at Solomon Brothers, well, we've said for a long time, no matter the price, you'll find something nice. Well, what does that mean? It means that we have such a variety of price points, all the way from engagement rings starting at $500 all the way up to $500,000. The beauty of Solomon Brothers, the beauty of a family shop is we don't have to cater to any one need. We can cater to all needs. So if there's any financing help that somebody needs, if somebody wants a better deal for paying outright, any of these things we can accommodate. So there is nobody that cannot shop at Solomon Brothers. We are here for everybody, for anyone, any couples, doesn't matter. Shop at Solomon Brothers. We will find you at any price something nice. We have 3 locations, one in Buckhead, one in Alpharetta, and now one in Sharpsburg, Georgia. Also shop us online at SolomonBrothers.com or come check us out on Instagram at Solomon Brothers.
What is spacious, has a versatile cabin, offers an inclusive voice assistant, and luxurious accommodations for up to 7? Meet the 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLE 350 4MATIC SUV. The advanced GLE SUV leaps further ahead with turbo hybrid power, fresh styling, and even more innovative technology. Experience the 2024 GLE 350 4MATIC SUV. Lease one today for just $839 per month for 36 months with $63.53 due at signing, exclusively from RBM of Atlanta in Sandy Springs. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this vehicle and many other models, and visit today to see how to qualify. Special lease rate available only to qualified customers exclusively from Mercedes-Benz Financial Service through RBM of Atlanta, Sandy Springs through September 3rd, 2024. Excludes tax, tag, title, and Georgia Lemon Law fees. Contact RBM of Atlanta for details on this and other exciting offers. Visit rbmofatlanta.com or call us at 770-390-0700 for details.
If you notice any cracks in your foundation, they are not going to go away. They need to be addressed as soon as possible to reduce additional costs that come with repair. Ramjack is the best company in the industry for repairing your foundation. We have the highest quality products in the nation. So, if you are experiencing foundation problems, please contact us at ramjack.com/Atlanta or call us at 770-502-8881. That's 770-502-8881.
Neil Borch here. Maybe you've already taken the steps to improve your health, maybe save your life. You're using a CPAP for your sleep apnea. I've been using one for well over 20 years. So right now I'm here to tell you about a source for CPAPs and CPAP supplies here in the Atlanta area. CPAPs, etc. They're in Alpharetta. They have whatever you need. Roddy and Sharon are your CPAP experts, and they'll ship nationwide. More information, CPAPs.com.
Tune into your new favorite show that's redefining the A to Z's of marketing, the Marketing Madmen. We'll take you behind the scenes of successful campaigns and reveal the strategies that win. We're not just talking about marketing, we're making it happen. From viral content creation to leveraging AI for customer engagement, our experts bring you to the cutting edge of industry. This is your playbook for market dominance. Tune in and transform your approach with actionable tips that could skyrocket your ROI. The Marketing Madmen every Saturday at 4 p.m. right here on Extra 106.3.
Hey there, I'm Tara, owner and publisher of Our Town Monthly, Cobb's premier lifestyle magazine. I'm here today with the owners of Diaz and Gaeta, and they have some breaking news for you.
That's right, Tara. We moved to a new location. I'm Giovanni Diaz, co-owner of Diaz and Gaeta. My partner Zachary Gaeta and I realized the need was growing more and more for legal representation, so we decided to grow too. Visit us at 2400 Herodian Way Southeast, Suite 275 in Smyrna, next to the Battery.
We are 13 years in practice with 6 attorneys on staff. We specialize in personal injury, immigration, criminal defense. We are a multilingual office and always offer free consultations. We are passionate about helping people. Consultations are scheduled with the law partners, and we maintain contact with our clients. We don't build walls between clients and attorney.
Wow, guys. Sounds like a lot of exciting things are going on at Diaz and Gaeta. Reach out with confidence, knowing these amazing attorneys will be working on your case and walking you through the entire process. And remember, Our Town is your town at Our Town Monthly.
The stories that matter to you. These are your Georgia headlines. Presented by RBM of Atlanta, your Mercedes-Benz connection since 1964.
All right, here are your top stories in the state of Georgia for today, Wednesday, August 21st. A 32-year-old mother and a 4-year-old son were found safe after being abducted from their home in Roswell. According to Roswell police, Forsyth County Sheriff's deputies spotted a car being driven by Brian Batania. The suspected abductor and the mother's boyfriend, Batania, was taken into custody 7 hours after they released a Levi's call. His charges have not been disclosed. Carroll County Deputy Taylor Bristow, who had been shot in the face while serving a search warrant, is out of surgery and recovering in the intensive care unit at Grady Memorial Hospital. Deputy Bristow was working with the GBI to serve a warrant for a alleged child sex exploitation predator at the time. Officials say the suspected gunman is dead, although the GBI has reported that no officers fired their weapons during the encounter. And in sports, Marcell Ozuna homered and Reynaldo Lopez pitched 5 strong innings in his return to the mound as the Atlanta Braves beat the first-place Phillies 3-1 last night at Truist Park. The Braves will go for their 4th win in a row tonight when they take on the Phillies in a 7:20 matchup. Max Fried will be on the mound for the Braves. You can catch all the action on our sister station, 680 The Fan.
Doug Rhino and Los until 10, then the Glenn Beck program. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton, and the local afternoon show with the Kimber 3 until 6. A little later in the 11 o'clock hour, Center for Renewing America's executive director going to be on talking about the Great Replacement Theory, what it actually is, what it actually means. That is coming up on the Glenn Beck program. Coming up on September 7th, Smyrna Public Safety Foundation's Hot Rods and Heroes Car Show, as well as the Battle of the Badges softball game. They're going to have Touch a Truck out there. It's a community event open to everybody, family-friendly and free. It happens at Smyrna First Baptist Church. They're in Smyrna from 10 until 3. It's going to be a big day, all day long. So go out there. And if you've got a hot rod you'd like to enter into that car show, let's say you got a
Subaru
Studebaker or a Subaru, yes. Or a I don't know, maybe you've got a car that looks like the one off Dumb and Dumber. You know what I mean? The one
that'd be awesome.
You know what I'm talking about? The one
like puppy fur on it?
Yes, well, yeah, if you got one of those, people would love that.
What about a Griswold station wagon?
Yes, that would be perfect.
With a Christmas tree on top.
Yes, all of it.
Roots intact.
Maybe the beat up RV that Uncle or Cousin Eddie drove. Yeah, any of those things. I think those would get a lot of attention. And if
Breaking Bad RV?
I don't know that because I never watched Breaking Bad. Y'all know that.
Oh yeah, no.
Is it recognizable?
It's an RV with you make the meth in.
Well,
That's
I know.
what you make the meth. You got to have a meth lab inside.
You understand that from up there in Tugland.
That's right, because
they do that up there in the mountains.
He's told me about it a few times before. But
not saying he's dealt it.
No, or consumed.
No, but he might have made it
in a bathroom.
Might have helped out
in a trailer somewhere. Just maybe. I don't know.
In an RV.
In an RV. But anyway, if you have any of those type cars, you can enter them in the car show, $20, and that will directly support Smyrna's first responders. And if you want to, maybe you got a couple of those cars. Look, maybe you're living like Barack and Michelle Obama. You're living good, man. You collect cars.
Yeah.
Like Sammy Hagar or something.
Yeah, the best thing to do, probably just leave it there because, you don't want to have too much.
Oh, because you'd be suspicious.
You'd be suspicious.
I would be suspicious if anybody had too many cars.
Could you imagine if you were someone who had a chef cooking for you at their house? Well, you did have a chef?
Yeah.
Cooking,
yeah.
I mean, isn't that like
nice.
too much?
I would think so. I would think yes.
Although Erin's like, chef, what are we having for dinner all the time? So I guess she kind of has that.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, so yeah.
Carlos is the chef in his house too.
Well, at least on the grill.
Outdoor chef.
Yeah, he's
Outdoor chef.
And I'm embarrassed to say that my wife's a better cook on the grill than I am.
Yeah.
It's horrible to admit that. It cuts deep.
Tug, you
but
listen,
it's the truth.
Your man card is going
it's been revoked
along with your hillbilly card.
It's revoked.
All of it's being revoked now. So let me see. Let's catch everybody up.
I don't know why
if
we
you
gotta
don't
do
know
this.
Tug Howard,
I don't know why we gotta
who
do
grew
this.
up in Dalton, Georgia, with the America's people.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
with America's people, with the people who are most patriotic in this world, the people that will dig their heels into that red clay and stand for this country. And
America that up.
Yeah. He doesn't drink beer.
Nope.
He doesn't drink coffee.
Nope. Never had a cup.
His wife is a better
chef
and grill.
Yeah.
He's eating squirrel.
I have. That brings
That's
me
okay. That gets him a little back.
That just pulls me back into just the fold a little bit.
Don't
I
like
got a cousin-
cinnamon.
Yeah, I don't like cinnamon or
Mayo.
or apple pie, mayo.
Apple pie.
Tea. I don't like tea.
Tea. That's the other one. Oh my gosh.
Can you believe it? It's embarrassing to admit some of the stuff. It is.
How
It's embarrassing.
dare you?
I know.
If I may,
How dare you identify as a Daltonite?
I know, right?
have
Don't tell
you
you.
seen the videos last night? Not of Tug. I don't have any Tug video.
Yeah, I hope there's
There's
not
no
any-
for fries.
yeah, there is at least one video.
Have you seen the video of Matt Walsh?
It's so amazing.
When he's creeping by the
hilarious.
ceiling, and I almost think, and y'all tell me what you think. I think his disguise is so bad, and it's intentional.
Yes.
Oh yes.
He wants people to realize it's him. He wants people to go, wait a minute.
So
is that
Matt Walsh is in the DNC. He's wandering around. He's intentionally getting in front of the cameras at
So
CNN, and he's got such a bad wig on that it's got like a bun, like on the back end of it,
a man
And
ponytail?
It couldn't look more fake. And he's got a was it Men for Kamala or
Yes.
something like that shirt on?
Yeah.
something?
It's hilarious.
It's so great.
And then they're all freaking out like who is this weird dude? I'm like, he's having fun at your expense.
Yes, he is.
He's
He's
doing
making fun of y'all.
he
They
is
said
Sacha
the
Baron
con-
Cohen.
The best part, okay, so I don't know if everybody's seen it, but go to at Matt Walsh blog and look for his new film, Am I Racist? Where he goes into the support group and these people start to shake and cry because he's sitting there and he wants to learn more about what he's done to be racist. These people are the craziest people I have ever seen in my life. I can't wait for this because it is so funny how, and again, they did it when they saw him running around because he said, well, now I got to fit in, and you'll see it if you watch the trailer. Watch the whole trailer. It's great.
good,
That's
yeah.
why that's why he has that costume, because he talks about, well, I guess I have to go on cover because they're so threatened by seeing me that they don't feel. They got up and threw their chairs back, and like when he was walking because they were so afraid of him.
You've got to leave.
He
They
was
were
trying to
hollering
hug
at
him.
Yeah.
Well, he asked the fundamental question, what is a woman? And by the time they
dude.
couldn't answer that, the next one is, am I racist? So,
yeah.
so he's actually at the DNC having fun
At their expense.
wearing a wig and walking around in front of the cameras.
And the white knight that stands up in some of these, and he's like, well, they all feel threatened, like you're going to be very violent because I asked to learn more. But the reality is, as soon as people saw him behind Chuck Schumer and Caitlin Collins on CNN and walking around in this ridiculous costume that he made after the man in Tennessee who was who couldn't answer what is a woman.
The one at UT, the professor at University of Tennessee.
He actually copied his exact outfit. That's why he dressed like that.
That's so good.
But the reality is, they called to have security remove him, even though he has a credential and is supposed to be there and is looking to learn more about the Democrat Party. That's the joke about them. They don't want anybody in there. They have their cult. They don't want you in their cult.
and he don't want to be in their cult. That's
No,
the other
well,
thing.
that's the problem.
But don't y'all
If
believe?
he wanted to be in reality, they would welcome him with open arms because that's what a cult does.
But it's so funny because with a guy like Matt Walsh, he is not afraid to capture what I believe is the minority of people in this country. Like a very small percentage of people are that crazy. But I do believe those beliefs and that way of behaving has infiltrated what leftists and liberals and Democrats do in their behavior. So, yes, it is the crazies that he's highlighting. I think they're a small portion. But what they do and bring and have pushed the party in that direction has much more impact than people realize. That's what I think about it. Morning Extra at Extra 106.3. Tug, Rhino, and Los will. Rhino, here's the news.
Oh,
no paper ballots in Georgia. It's one of those things that we need. It's one. I don't understand why we can't get it done. But the AJC, they've got a little bit of a different take on it.
Yeah, the AJC is making it look like it's a failed issue. That, we're not. Yep, no, listen.
Rejected.
It's rejected because people realize we don't need paper ballots. Don't believe the way that they've laid this out. Now, they do go into the email, into the letter. After you get past the headline, read past the headline.
You have to.
Then you'll see the reality of this. The truth of this is this. The state election board rejects the use of paper ballots statewide. That's the headline you're going to see, making it seem that way. Well, they did it because they don't have the authority to tell people what to do with state ballots. That's a different issue, and it's got to be brought up in a different manner. Now, I know they don't understand how government works. They just throw these things out there and, well, whatever it is. But the truth is that we have made it clear what we want, and we need to continue down that path because we do have to take the precautions of looking and saying, hey, we need to have paper ballots in this state. Now, Brad Raffensperger said that he planned on updating these Dominion voting machines before the election because of vulnerabilities.
That should give anybody pause.
Yeah. But we can't go to paper ballots because, well, the update that's supposed to fix the vulnerabilities, he's not going to do until after the most important election probably of our lifetimes.
Which they announced that months ago when we were talking about that. So there's a vulnerability.
So then why are you making us feel like we should feel our elections are secure in the state of Georgia if you tell us there's a vulnerability in a voting machine that we already had problems with, and then say, well, I'm not going to update them now. I'm going to wait till after the election of somebody who I've literally aided the Democrats in trying to destroy and lying to the people of Georgia about what could have actually been done and what we need to do, and really just kind of going back and forth about why we shouldn't have paper ballots.
Well, let's be very truthful about this. The Republican establishment, when we hit 2020, really thought that if they just got rid of Donald Trump, everything would go back to normal in terms of the establishment on both the left and the right. It would be back in power, and they wouldn't have to worry about it.
No more waves.
They weren't going to have to worry about that dude anymore. And now what's come back around the way that it has, they're sitting back having to now play the game and say, all right, we'll help secure the elections and we'll help take care of what we need to. They're now having to actually do what they weren't doing in 2020.
And it probably chaps their ass that they have to do that.
Yeah.
They
thought they were done with this guy.
They want to have to worry with this anymore. The establishment loves power and money, just like the left, just like the Democrats do. If you think there's any difference in the Republican establishment and all those crazies in the United Center at the DNC, you're way wrong.
I mean, Brian Kemp in 2020 thought to himself, you know what? I'm going to win re-election in 2022, and oh, by the way, I won't have to worry about Donald Trump ever again.
Gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Absolutely.
And now here he is.
Back. He's back.
You know, look, when you have security experts telling you these machines are vulnerable, this is the vulnerability we found. This is the hacking that switching votes we've been able to do. There is manipulation that can be done remotely. And then you hear, well, we're not going to go and protect these vulnerabilities till after an election. That's going to be a big problem. But the reality is, it's not about the state election board. It's not about anybody else. It's about the legislator. It's about the people that are coming up with the legislation here locally in our state that we're electing. They put their confidence in the Dominion voting machines. They're the ones that have put forth legislation that says we need to use these and haven't asked any questions about them. Those are the people we need to be mad at, not the state election board for not going ahead and saying, hey, we are going to recommend that you guys go to paper ballots. They can recommend it, but it's got to be legislative.
How wild is it that when you look back at what's gone on in the last 3 years, remember, you had Tucker Carlson that was largely fired from Fox News because he was questioning aspects of the election. And Fox News Corp had a $780 million payout to Dominion Voting Systems for saying that they had issues with being hackable.
Vulnerabilities? Would you call it a vulnerability?
$780 million was the finding, was the verdict. in order to, because Fox News said that they were vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? 3 years later,
I mean,
vulnerable.
listen, that's Fox News' fault for settling in a case because of the pressure that was put on them. They shouldn't have never settled that case. They should have fought it all the way. They had enough evidence for all of this. Now, there are, local officials can go ahead and go to paper ballots. In fact, they have them because what if the power went out? What if something happened and the machine shut down? So I understand where like a Debbie Dooley is going in there and she's saying, hey, we think that the fact that there's proven vulnerability, or even Secretary of State, we've shown the vulnerability. We've shown everything. In fact, a lot of people have ruled that these machines are vulnerable for certain situations. I understand how they can use that. Like, oh, this is almost the same as if the power to go out, but it's not. So be careful with what we say, what we put out there. If you want it changed, make sure you're voting for people who will want to go to paper ballots, people like Jeff Criswell, stuff like that. These local officials that we can make sure, but we got to make sure we're doing it in our state as well.
When we continue on Extra 106.3, Tug, Rhino, and Los, to hear the Obamas sing the same old Trump song and do the same old Trump dance is pretty exhausting to anybody that's paying attention to what the DNC is and has been. We'll wrap up the show with that next. 404-741-1230 at Extra 106.3 across the social media platforms.
The legend Neil Bortz is only on Extra 106.3. Hey, it's Pete, and here's what you missed from the Talkmaster.
Kamala Harris said, "We want dignity for all people. We want to recognize the pride that all people have to freedom and liberty, especially those that are about heart and home." I don't know what the phrase pride to freedom means. Word salad.
Catch Neil's commentary every day on Extra 106.3 or listen anytime on the Extra 106.3 app.
Atlanta, it's Front Office Los. Let's talk about steel power equipment. And where do you get your steel power equipment? Of course, it's Howard Brothers. That's where you go each and every time. Let's face it, when the going gets dirty, get yourself a steel. All right? STIHL. All right? Steel power equipment. You already know steel for not just like, the weed trimmer is obviously the first and foremost, but also chainsaws, leaf blowers. You can also trust them now when it comes to pressure washing. Steel now has a pressure washer that'll take care of some of the nastiest jobs you got out there. And where do you go get it? You go get it over at Howard Brothers. Steel has a pressure washer that's going to help you when it comes to, let's say, your house, your driveway, your deck. Many more applications just outside of that. Those are the primary ones. But again, Steel Power Equipment, their pressure washer is going to help you get everything cleaned up. Steel Power Equipment is available at all 7 Howard Brothers locations: Alpharetta, Athens, Dallas, Dorville, Duluth, Lula, and Oakwood. Every single one of them. Keep in mind, the grass is always always greener, and the project is always cleaner when you take care of it with steel and with Howard Brothers.
Looking for bold discussions on vital issues? Tune in to the Janelle King Show every Saturday at 3 p.m. with an encore episode every Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on Extra 106.3, where we dive into kitchen table topics that are essential for a strong republic. Don't miss an episode, but if you do, it's all good because we have new podcasts that drop every Tuesday on the Podcast Park or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't miss out on these thought-provoking conversations.
Hey everybody, it's Neil Bortz, an actual attorney spokesperson for Van Sant Law. Notice the heavy traffic out there? Yep, school's back in session. Things can happen. Sometimes people aren't that careful. Maybe an accident. But David Van Sant, he's there to help smooth the way for you if somebody you love gets hurt. Call Van Sant Law at 855-GA-INJURY. 855-GA-INJURY. First call after 9/11, Van Sant Law. 855-GA-INJURY.
You're out with friends and a few drinks becomes a few too many and you decide to drive anyway. What's the worst that can happen? Drive sober or get pulled over.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789. 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
The future of business in Georgia is bright, and Georgia Power is a driving force behind the businesses and organizations that are vital to the growth of the state. Organizations like Georgia Tech.
Hi, this is Jay Batt, Director of Athletics here at Georgia Tech. The Georgia Institute of Technology in itself is an incredible place. We've got this tremendous history of success. We've got incredible corporations that invest in college football. And for us, that's part of our winning formula. We've got incredible alignment on our campus. We've got incredible alignment from our president to our head coaches to our donors. We continue to invest in the fan experience here in Bobby Dodd. Everything from what happens in game, from the music to the in-game promotions, it's really an important part of what we do. And we really have tried to expand that game day experience thanks to our partnerships. I think our fans will see continued investment in that game day experience, so we're really excited to continue investing.
To learn more about how Georgia Power is helping businesses big and small, visit georgiapower.com and tune in all year to discover how they're powering the future of Georgia. The Morning Extra has you covered until 10 a.m. Then it's Glenn Beck, Clay Travis, and Buck Sexton at noon, and The Kimmer Show taking over at 3, only on Extra 106.3.
Oh, we've got 2 days left of the DNC. I mean, it's late nights, it's babble, it's complaining, it's a bunch of really, really rich people who've never created anything, mainly made their money off the government teat. I mean, that's what it is. And people are eating out of their hands. But I guess, I mean, if you look at the British, there is a portion of the British population who absolutely adore and worship the monarchy, right? They just love it. And I think Lowe's made a great point earlier, Rhino, when he said some people just really like being told what to do. They don't want to have to make their own decisions. They don't want to have their actions have the consequences that affect them. And the DNC is perfect for people like that.
Absolutely. Especially when you have really good people. Well, let me not say good people. Good speakers like the Obamas up there. That's the best part for them, is that they get to continue to lie to these people, to make them excited about this false, but never tell them what's coming ahead of them. Because these people are going down a tunnel, and even though they see the light there, they still keep walking down that tunnel going, well, it might not be a train, it could be a flashlight. And then they get run over by the same policies. They sit there and they go, oh gosh, I never saw that coming. And it's going to be the same thing time after time with them. They need to be told what to. I think, Carlos, you could say it best. They wait for their upload.
Yeah, and you got it a little bit last night when the Democrats decided to roll out Anna Navarro and to call her a Republican strategist. Yeah, she's a Republican. Yeah,
the
she
View
sure
co-host Republican strategist.
Right, she works for The View. She's a Republican, and she's talking about realizing that Donald Trump, well, I know a dictator when I see one. Well, I know what I've been living under for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Listen here, baby girl.
I know about mandates.
Don't tell me about Nicaragua and what you experience when I get to see you on a regular basis spouting off your craziness. And if the Democrats actually thought that you were going to be objective, they wouldn't have had you on the stage.
You'd have never been there.
And that's the reality of it. They're fake Republicans. Jeff Duncan tonight, fake Republican. This isn't a guy who's actually working for his constituents. This is a guy who took money. This is a guy who gets paid to become wealthier because he's in politics, not because he's doing anything for the people. In fact, he's doing the opposite of that. They did it again last night, too. They get this guy on who's a contractor, by the way. Trump's terrorists, and because of him, 2x4s. No. Those 2x4s didn't come from China. They came from Canada, the Can 4. That's where the 2x4s come from where he said he was buying them. So all these lies, I voted for him 3 times. I don't believe it. They are trying to create this narrative, trying to create this false joy, trying to create all of this because they know that these people are taking those downloads, and then they're coming out today, even today on our YouTube channel. We had one of the useful idiots who created 15 million jobs. Wages are higher than ever.
Oh, just wait for later today, brother.
Oh, yeah. Once they roll them back.
We
But that's
already,
what they listen to.
we already have the situation where you have about 5 million jobs, and most of them have gone to indigenous people. They are not people that were born here in America. We have created, and this was largely done under Barack Obama. And hear me when I tell you this. He was trying to turn us into a country of masseuses, okay?
Yeah.
Service-oriented. We weren't creating anything. You were doing stuff in order to get your money. That is what we've basically created in the last 5 years. As much as Joe Biden sits back and he's like, manufacturing, 5 million jobs, it's not enough.
A perfect example of that is California. When we learned, I think it was last week, that California, since 2021, has created 5,000 jobs that have not been tied to government. 5,000.
Yeah, what's the population there? What's the population there? Well, let's talk about small business and the attack. I mean, you want break into the attack from what they're talking about right now. The attack is on small business again. That's the middle class, by the way, that they're destroying with these ideas that they're putting out there. Everything's been stolen from Trump. Everything that they've done, they kind of pretend that Trump. Last night, Barack Obama. Can you believe they'd put kids in cages?
Wait, didn't you do that?
Who built the cages, dude?
Buddy? I don't know. Maybe you should sit this one out, buddy.
Did the useful idiot hear that?
No, of course not.
Did the useful idiot
Just
hear
nod.
that,
Just nod.
look, $35 capped insulin. Who did that? I mean, be real. Go do the research. You won't. Why? Because your download came in. And it came from two people who speak very well. Michelle Obama did a great job. Doug did a great job. I thought Doug, like by far, the best and most real. I think he falls into the download category. But that guy seemed more real to me than anybody else on that stage last night. He was, and, I thought he got Carlos, man. I thought he did. I thought he brought Carlos in with the, I still talk to all my boys. We do fantasy football every week, like I'm doing fantasy football. I don't have time for the rest of this stuff going on.
I'm a real guy.
He did. He came off as a real guy. But the rest of them, they come off as they know better. We're the government. We're going to take care of you. And these people take that download every day.
So it'll be interesting tonight when you're going to get Bill Clinton on the stage, and you're also going to get Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, my God.
Now,
she stays over that long?
I don't know. We're going to have to.
That's a late night.
Grandma vodka, it's a little bit later for her.
She gets her bag of cocaine from the White House. She'll be able to drink more.
Allegedly. It's going to be interesting to then
Thank
see
you for
her
throwing that in for me.
hold up the head of Joe Biden and be like, look what I did for you. I'm the one who got this one. She's going to be basically, she's going to be holding it like Medusa. I mean, how does she get up on stage and talk about Kamala Harris when she's the one who got rid of Joe Biden?
And then talk about democracy, too.
But that's the thing, though. At what point do they finally drop that facade? Like that Joe's great and
they already did.
Love Joe. No, they don't. They're still talking about how they love Joe. The people,
the facade of loving Joe?
Yeah.
They're not going to drop that. They're as fake as a guy with a dress on.
There was an article yesterday in the AJC that talked about how Georgia Democrats just miss Joe Biden. They just miss him. I'm like, no, they don't. They don't miss Joe Biden.
They don't miss him. They don't even know where he is right now.
Yesterday's news, Joe Biden.
Joe who?
It's exactly right, man. He was the player to be named later in a trade.
He really
That's what he was.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's like, there you go. Give him. They're going to get up there and talk about a threat to democracy tonight, and they're going to talk about it while nobody's voted for the woman that they're going to endorse. They're going to talk about, that's what Nancy Pelosi is going to do. They're good at lying. They're good. It's easy to do to their base.
There was 276,000 Democrat voters that voted for Joe Biden in the 2024 Georgia primary. I wonder how many of them are going, and Kamala's awesome.
Every one of them.
They're not.
Every one of them. Kamala's awesome.
He got 95.2% of the vote.
Because it doesn't matter who the puppet is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They're voting for the party.
They're not talking about that. They're not talking about Kamala Harris and how great she is and what she's going to do for Atlanta.
But if asked,
they're talking about Little John.
No, yeah.
They're talking about Megan Thee Stallion. They're talking about whatever concert they put on, and Taylor Swift said this, and Little John did that, and this. Not one of them has said, I really love Kamala Harris's policies. I love what she's going to do for the city of Atlanta. I love what she's going to do, like our leadership has done here, where our kids are failing in our schools, where we have abortion clinics put in. Most of our black children are being aborted in our neighborhoods. They're not going to go in and say, hey, the gun violence, the culture that's in our neighborhoods, more kids are dying every single day. They're not going to go in there and talk about those things. They're going to be distracted with these lies that the Democrats continue to tell them.
Buddy, I can't think of one person that I've seen say a policy that Kamala has either come up with
Joy,
or injected that has actually worked, because Democrat policies don't work.
Joy.
And it will remain Barack Obama's. If she's elected, it'll be his 4th term. And it'll resemble the first 2 that he had, and then the last 3.5 years under Joe Biden, because all that's his stuff as well. None of that is going to change. Morning Extra and Extra 106.3. We're going to turn this thing over to the Glenn Beck program. He'll be on until noon. Then Clay and Buck from noon until 3, 3 until 6. The one and only Kimmer Show with Pete and Flounder. For Rhino, for Front Office Lowe's, for our buddy Goey, board up. He's the Virgin River. Y'all come back now, you hear? The Kimmer Show is only on Extra 106.3 every weekday afternoon on your drive home.
The Virginia governor, Youngkin, I believe.
Yeah, Youngkin.
Has just basically mandated paper ballots. It's your turn, Brian Kemp.
That's right.
Why this love affair with Dominion voting machines? I don't understand.